guys are live.
Yo!
Yo.
Hello, PSR Marathon Watchers!
Yo. Whenever you want to go.
G Hines is going to be doing some Pokemon Sapphire, but with a little twist. Am I right, Hines?
A little twist, yep. Actually, a big twist, as we'll find out, but...
All right, so yeah, whenever you're ready to start, I am good on the timer.
Okay, cool. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, good luck.
Thanks. All right, so why don't you explain to Travis? You know all about it, right?
Yes. So, right now, you probably are seeing a moving van, and that's basically Pokemon Sapphire, right?
No, it's not the moving van yet. Anyway, first thing, we're doing is we're picking the girl.
Yeah.
We know why we're picking the girl, right? It's not for the memes, like it usually is.
Is covering up a NPC, right? Or is that in...
No, that's the old reason, yeah. So originally we used to pick the girl. The first reason why we started picking the girl, well, I guess it was a combination of things, but one of the biggest reasons was we would do manipulation. We are going to manipulate for the Mudkip, unlike the remakes, which we saw a few days ago, or 2 days ago, but originally we were not allowed to save quit for anything in Pokemon speedruns, but when that rule changed, Sapphire changed quite a bit, because we were able to save to manip for an amazing Mudkip, which is the one we're going to use.
Right, and now you save next to the bag instead of just playing from the start.
Exactly.
So you don't need to worry about NPCs throwing things off in starter time.
Yeah, so every time an NPC moves or changes directions, it will advance the RNG by 1. The frame counter also advances the RNG by 1, so, you know, you would, back in the day, I mean, even now, you obviously time your manip based on frame count, but the NPCs would introduce quite a lot of variance, and in the intro cutscene, if you pick the girl, you're in the right house, and the truck that your character appears in deloads an NPC that would otherwise be standing there that would contribute more variance if you pick the boy. So that's the original reason we picked the girl. But also, the boy has less text here, I think, which is what Xarian would say. He'd say we pick her because of less text, but, you know, there's like 3 different reasons, and we'll get to the other reason later on, but... yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like your mic is a bit louder than the rest, so if you could pull me up and the game up a bit, that would be awesome.
Okay. Pull you up and the game up?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's fine. So we're going to be getting through here, getting the perfect manipulated Mudkip, and if you haven't noticed already, there's a bit of a twist here because Hines is playing the Japanese version, and interestingly, he's going to be able to be doing the same manips as the English version because the RNG works the same across the languages.
Yes. Hopefully those clicks aren't super loud, but... So we're looking for a Mudkip with 21 HP. That's male. There's a few other details that we can pay attention to, but primarily we're looking for that. I am going to check stats. That's probably early as well. I am going to check stats, but if I didn't check stats, there is an encounter list manipulation that we have that was developed by Epic Dude Guy, who is... Nice, I got it, second try. That is... Robbie's a god, by the way. Robbie wasn't able to watch. He's, you know, he's snoozing, but that's because he's keeping a good sleep schedule, you know. But yeah, so we manipulated for a naughty Mudkip. The IVs are 24 HP, 27 attack, 10 defense, 31 special attack, 31 special defense, and 30 speed. So, as you can tell, amazing stats. Plus attack helps for a bunch of different things, but...
For sure.
I can't remember who last ran this. Did Keysron run this at any of the last 2?
I don't remember when this has last been run.
Okay.
I want to say the last time I've seen somebody tried to do like a race style play of Sapphire is Xarian doing it as like a bounty.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so, you know, last time I ran this was 2015, and that was like a very different time for the game. We were still using Abra, and I think we initially, in about 2016, early 2016, both Emerald and Sapphire moved to Abraless. Initially, I think just for sort of a convenience factor faster on average to not get Abra. But ultimately, I think we found out over time that Abraless is just straight up faster in Sapphire. Not the case in Emerald, as you saw Shiru do his new and improved Abra route for Emerald, but in Sapphire, it is definitely faster to not catch Abra. So I'm going to be saving for Rival 1, not because it's a deadly fight, because back in the day we would get, we would take almost anything we could get, including minus defense Kips. Minus defense Kips can get Shrek by Trico, so... and you actually have to win this fight. There's obviously some games you don't have to win the rival fight, but...
You want that experience.
Yeah, you also want that experience, yeah. So if I didn't check stats and I did the encounterless manip, then... Essentially, the encounterless manip is an extension of the Mudkip manip that Robbie developed, and I would only know my stats when I leveled up here, and I would be looking for 16 attack. That was close. Because there's actually a Mudkip like one frame later than this Mudkip that's a hasty Mudkip with much worse stats that is male, also 21 HP, so you can't tell unless you check stats or when you level up. So another thing I didn't mention, this is possibly Shiro mentioned a lot of mechanic stuff, but I always find it interesting. You get 4 free encounterless tiles after any encounter and after any trainer battle. So in every single one of those patches except one leading up to the rival, I could only get 1 encounter. And I would get 4 free tiles after that, and also after the rival fight. I turned right to go through a tile of grass, but I couldn't get an encounter there. I went right first to avoid the turn frames, because if you turn from a standstill in most of the early Pokemon games, you get a few frames where your character is turning.
Yep.
But I couldn't get an encounter there because I just exited the rival battle. In Emerald, actually, in a couple situations there and like right after that, when you talk to Brendan, the game actually turns you downward after the cutscene, so you can just go straight anyway. But in Sapphire, they didn't do that. There's like a few weird differences like that.
Yeah, some people in chat are mentioning Emerald versus Sapphire timing in terms of why Emerald would be longer. Emerald has a lot more cutscenes, I believe, like related to the story.
Yeah.
It has a few more double battles.
Yep.
I think that's a lot of it.
Also TNL, I mean, TNL is just a longer fight. I think there's probably a couple other fights that are longer. But so I can only get that 1 encounter, then I get free, and I got lucky in the second patch there, but we'll be going to our first fight here, which is actually one of our first big differences between English and Japanese. So in the regions in Gen 3, this is the only Pokemon main series games that I know of where this is the case, but natures are tied to the region, so something about the language determines the nature of the opposing Pokemon. Its IVs are set between all the games, but the nature obviously can create that 10% difference in 2 of the stats. A plus 10% in one stat and a minus 10% in another stat. And this fight is a big deal because in English it's a plus speed Zigzagoon, so you have 11 speed at this point, and you tie this Zigzagoon, and you lose a ton of time if he spams Growl. Obviously, also if you're losing speed ties, which basically makes it a 50-50 chance that you go first. But in Japanese, that is a neutral speed Zigzagoon, so it has 10 speed. So it literally just loses 1 point of speed, and because you have 11 speed, you always outspeed it, and it just saves a lot of time on average. Makes it a lot. You can die to him, but it's like super unlikely, obviously. But
another thing I thought I would mention about Sapphire in general, the game doesn't require you to fight very many trainers at all, so you are really, really underleveled in Sapphire for very much of the game.
And I enter the Pokemon Center here. Shiro didn't do the Abraless route, but if you ever watch Abraless routes of Emerald, Abraless runs of Emerald, you would know that they don't enter the Pokemon Center there, but I'm setting my warp point there because later on I'm going to, try and warp back to Petalburg, not using Abra, but we'll see how that works out. I wonder how he does it. But in Emerald they do it in Dewford. So, but there's reasons why, and we'll get to those. But first of all, a cutscene or catch tutorial. So
Oh, and that's another interesting thing to mention. You know Japanese, right? You actually know Japanese in addition to just knowing
Yeah,
how to play the.
that was a big help. I ran this like a few years ago when a friend of mine who actually went to teach English in Japan gave me a cartridge as a gift, which was really cool. And I just kind of thought, oh, I'll give it a try. And then I found out about the natures thing. I was like, oh my god, this could actually be really big. But I didn't do a lot of research at the time, and I got the record in the category, but the Japanese weren't very. There's a lot of really talented Japanese runners, one of whom actually helped a lot in English Sapphire was Buster. If any of you are familiar with Buster, he recently got Heart Gold Soul Silver world record as well in English. But Sapphire wasn't very active amongst the Japanese, even the Japanese version. And so my time stood for a while until recently one of them beat it, and I decided, on a whim, I'll go back to it and actually determined the specifics of the nature differences to the point where I could actually come up with a route. And Japanese that I studied did help a bit in that, just because I don't know, just being able, it's mostly items, obviously menuing. But real quick, I'm going to be doing another manip. I'll explain why, but feel free to just ask questions, Travis. I feel like that's probably the best way to, because otherwise I could just ramble the whole time. But
it sounds to me like you're doing a great job describing what's going on. There's a lot of new stuff in the early game of Sapphire that people might not have seen before. So this is going to be a Wingle manip, and he's going to get the Wingle, I believe, so that he can do a lot of damage to a Geodude that he wouldn't normally be able to do damage to, and then sack the Wingle into finishing it off with Mudkip.
Yes. But the biggest advantage, that's one huge advantage, that was hypothesized actually many years ago by a man named Spitfire, if you're ever trolling through the the history books of Sapphire, but we couldn't really implement it because it required you to get lucky and just encounter a Wingle. Your alternative for Wingle, which they catch in Emerald for other reasons, they have to wait to catch a flyer because of a force double, is that you don't have to screw around with Swablu later in the run. You can just, guarantee that you get a flyer earlier. So, Swablu used to kill a lot of runs.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about catching a flyer randomly if you've manipulated one.
Yeah, exactly,
so,
yeah.
There's all this benefit to this strategy. It reminds me a lot of the Pidgeotto crit manip idea for Yellow.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of using it to get experience, we're just catching it.
Yeah. And the Wingle manip also, shout outs to Epic Dude Guy. He developed that, so that's really good on him because that helps a lot. This fight is different
with a lot of good clusters, right?
Yeah. I wish I should know more about it, but I really don't. Shiru and Robbie are honestly the two kind of pioneers as far as Gen 3 encounter manip goes, but that is a cluster of 5 frames, and I had to pay attention to the I'm getting really bad luck here, Lucian. I had to pay attention to the NPC movement to know exactly where to move. All the movement is relatively similar, but you have to react to the first NPC's movement right away. Did I even get a sand attack? Is this? This Pooch is is brave in English, so it's plus attack minus speed. The speed doesn't really matter, but it is plus defense in Japanese. So whereas you're guaranteed to 5-hit KO in English, you basically need at least 7 hits to knock it out in Japanese. So that's why I lead with 2 Mud Slaps, just to hopefully get some misses. He can also miss Sand Attack, which Sand Attack is one of obviously the biggest culprits of time loss there, or deaths. So.
Here's a question for you, Heinz. Are you still able to get killed by Wally in the 1 in a few million chance in the Japanese release?
Oh yes, yeah. I'm pretty sure the odds are the same. I mean, the levels are the same, so it would just be dependent on the the rolls and the stats.
That is funny.
Yeah, it still never happened, but yeah.
When is manip for that?
Good question. Gifex, the manips are the same, so I essentially just ported all the manips, the Wingle manip and the Mudkip manip to Japanese. So this is another one. I'm going to be saving extremely liberally through the whole game, and the reason is because whereas in a lot of Pokemon games, if you get bad luck, you lose time. There's a very minuscule chance on the majority of fights in Sapphire that you just die. And if I get that minuscule chance, I'm just not trying to go back to Petalburg. So, but this is the strat here, so this is crazy. I'll just let it kind of speak for itself. But there are ways that it can fail to work out. The Geodude can crit you. If he crits me, I'm just gonna reset this, so because he can kill the Wingull in one hit. And if I crit with this water gun, then the Mudkip won't get the experience, and I can't continue. So that's why I saved. But we used to just spam. We used to do the Emerald strat for this, where you literally just spam 6 Mudslaps. And the main thing is not just the time save; it's actually the variance. In, you know, he could miss 6 times or 5 times, or he could hit you 5 times, you know, even though you're lowering his accuracy every time. So that really plays into how you plan your potion buy. Before this, I only bought 3, whereas in the past, I would almost always buy 4, especially before Winona went up. So. But then, yeah, sorry, the reason why we do that is because we don't have Water Gun until level 10. So.
Yeah, it's interesting to me how much you have to play safe on like every fight in Sapphire, because there's always the 1 in 16 chance that you're gonna get crit and get killed somewhere. It's like the crit gauntlet in Yellow, except a little bit easier per fight, but it's every single fight.
It's every single fight, yeah. In these fights I can't die because I'm just, you know, Oko in this, but yeah, that's. And sometimes you actually can't play safe. Like Norman, it's like, okay, you X defend, but you're at full health, and he kills you. With crit, ignores defense, so it's like, okay, he Okos me no matter if I heal or not. So it's like, I just might as well play risky. So this has been pretty good so far, though, honestly. I'll talk a little bit more about it too, but one of the big, I mean, I'm sure Shiro talked about spinner manip, but that's like one of the coolest things about Gen 3 is just, it really rewards execution. It can be very frustrating because if you know, it can be unforgiving. Obviously, you hit a spinner, it's like, I can't PB because my PB didn't hit any spinners because, you know, I'm guaranteed not to hit him if I don't mess up, but I did a few running manips earlier, and then we'll see some more on the next round. But this is Roxanne. Biggest difference here is that she has a modest nose pass in English, so it's minus attack, and the plus special attack doesn't matter because it doesn't have any special attacks, but it's a neutral attack nature in Japanese, so +0, meaning undropped attack will do more damage, but with a growl, the roll is actually the same as the English nose pass. So I almost always growl here. And I'm trying to get to Torrent, but it's really tough. I honestly probably should have healed before this fight just to make it easier, but I'm going to end up having to heal mid-fight. So that's, yeah, I don't really like how this is. I might retry this. We'll see. Oh, nice tackle, I guess. Okay.
Heinz, is this Roxanne fight sponsored by the police?
By the police?
Oh, the band.
You mean Sting? Oh yeah. No, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good one. You know, I love that. What's that one police song I was always into? Guitar Hero. I don't know. I just have Guitar Hero memories. You know, I'm not really.
You just know Guitar Hero.
I'm a fraud, but yeah, as far as, you know, police fan goes. But all right, that's good. There we go. The tackle helped because the AI can just be really weird. She'll spam rock throw. Yeah, the other unfortunate thing is you obviously can't tell necessarily what move she's using, except you can tell by the damage. But Rock Throw and Rock Tomb do the same amount of damage because they're the same power, but Rock Tomb drops your speed. She'll favor Rock Tomb at first because you're faster, but then once she's dropped your speed, she won't use it. She'll just use Rock Throw. But she did get a tackle in there in the middle of that, so she has 2 potions. There's a really cool situation in English where you can get her to like 1 HP above heal, and then if you're in Torrent, you actually you have like a 10 and 60, like a 5 and 8 chance to knock her out or something like that. But she's like plus special defense in Japanese, so you can't do that. So it's honestly a worse fight. Yeah, it's like there's a lot of trade-offs between the two. It really makes for an interesting comparison. So I'm gonna be fighting a trainer. I'm gonna be avoiding this guy. I can kind of explain this strat in a sec, but avoid that guy. This is really cool. I don't know how to explain that, but do you know anything about spinners? Can you explain that, Travis? Or
oh, spinners, yeah. So there's a few different ways to manip spinners. There's ways basically between changing from walking to running, and also from changing from walking or running into biking.
Yes.
And that will force the trainer while you're running to look a certain direction, and then it's stuck in that direction for long enough that you can walk around where it's not facing.
Yes.
That's the easiest way to explain it, I would say.
Exactly. And specifically the way the frame data works out, it's stuck in the direction when a spinner calculates a new direction, whether because you forced it or because it turns spontaneously, it is stuck in that direction for 32 frames unless you run in its vicinity. And if it doesn't turn in 32 frames, essentially it's actually crazy. I can't believe that they actually program this, that. Like, they're just very specific about things that you know would never be visible to the average player. It blows my mind. But there's 3 classes of spinners, and so they all can turn on frame 32 after they've been stuck. But if they don't turn, then they vary on what the next frame is that they can turn. And the 2 most relevant classes are the ones that can turn next on frame 48 or next on frame 64. And so the way that spinner worked just a second ago, the one that looks up and down, is that I paused after I walked up to her because my walking took 32 frames. And because she hadn't spun yet, I paused to essentially pause her timer. And this was Xarian's idea, by the way. This is like a brilliant strat. It's actually awesome. If she hasn't turned, I know because of what class she is that she can't turn again until frame 64, and walking is 16 frames. So since I paused on frame 32, you know, ideally if I pause frame perfectly, then another 16 frames is frame 48. So since she can't turn on frame 48, since she's not that class, I can just walk past. So do it again here, but see, so you just boom.
So yeah, the basic idea is you're manipulating the spinners to not look at you.
Yep.
Whereas in Gen 2, if a spinner is spinning,
Yeah.
good luck.
Yeah, you pretty much just have, you know, some chance. You can make it favorable for yourself, but it's basically soft manip. So this Machop can use low kick, and it does 5 to 6. Okay, he used focus energy. And the way damage rolls work in Gen 3 and also Gen 4 is that they're divided among 16 rolls, and the maximum roll is always 1 in 16, which is the same odds as a critical, about 6%. So because because he's only 1 in 16 to do 6, I risk it because he also is only 1 in 3 to use low kick, so it's 1 in 48 approximately to die to low kick. If you exclude crit chance, so it's approximately 4%. So if you only have 5 HP there, depending on how much damage you took on Roxanne, if she leaves you at 1 HP at the end of the fight, then you fight the guy below him, who's slightly slower. He's like 5 seconds slower. And here we learn our favorite move in the game. Actually, the most useful move in the game, and a really cool move, but also the source of much shame and sorrow. Mudkip, you know, Elite Growl for Mudkip.
So you must not like Mudkips because we just got rid of Mudkip.
That's
For
true.
a Marsh Tom.
That's true. We're a Marsh Tom, yeah. So this is, you know, I'm not really explaining the story because I feel like people have played this game, and again, people probably, I don't know how many people really are watching that watch a lot of Pokemon speedruns, but you know, this is the Devon guy. The Aqua Grunt that I fought stole his goods or whatever. I got them back, and then now this guy is gonna give me the letter to give to Steven. So I'm gonna go to Dewford.
The Ruby Sapphire story is so easy to explain. It's like
Very
Team Aqua, we love water. Team Magma,
Yeah.
we love land.
Yeah.
Team Aqua stealing stuff from Devon because they want to use their technology to expand the water.
Which they never really tell you what the technology is. It's not like the Sylph Scope, you know. It's like,
Yeah, it's like,
well, there's the Devon Scope.
some random, nice, shiny thing.
Yeah, you know, technology. I don't know. But we are going to do our first shop here. Sell Rock Tomb. This was another big innovation in the route, like a long time ago, but we used to teach Rock Tomb because we were noobs. Also, when you have bad stats and you can't manipulate for stats, you honestly might need Rock Tomb. I haven't done the calcs in a while, but you probably might need Rock Tomb, for all I know, you know. So I'm going to buy 2x speeds, 3x attacks, 6 repels, and 3 super potions.
I love how you can just be totally lying to the stream right now.
That's true, yeah. I mean, hey, you can look it up on Bulbapedia.
Going back in time, I want to see one of the PSR marathons be like chronological, so we go from like Gen whatever it is to Gen 7 to 6 to 5 to...
Oh my god, my 2015 run was horrible. I like had worked out a soft Abramanit before it that I thought worked, but then I didn't know about the step counter, which I guess I could explain, but it's just basically like, this is the same thing in Gen 4 too, but basically the RNG advances by 128 steps times the number of Pokemon in your party. And so if you don't do perfect movement or you don't do it in exactly the same way, then your manip just doesn't work. So I tried to manip for Abra for like probably 20 minutes and just finally got a random Abra and caught it, you know, it's like, and there wasn't a YOLO ball manip, so I was still having to catch it spontaneously, you know. That was a fun one, but yeah, this one will be a lot cleaner, I promise. So because we're not catching Abra, this is where we would normally catch Abra, because you, unlike Emerald, you can't catch it on Route 116, which is where we just were. But we won't be catching it, so I'm just going to repel through the whole cave. So.
Yeah, this is Japanese for anybody who cannot tell. I like to say the Japanese characters you can tell because there's like swooping lines.
Oh yeah.
The Korean characters you got straight lines and circles.
Circles, yeah, the circles give it away.
Yeah, and then the Chinese characters you just got tons of lines.
Yeah, they do hard mode. They don't have any syllabary, you know. I talked to Steven from the side because it's faster, you know, because he has to walk out, you know, little things like that. This is very much a classic Pokemon game. It's just kind of looks more modern, but in my opinion, this is the pinnacle, dude. The spinner manip alone, like, there was a lot of thought put into a lot of the stuff in this game, the technical aspects of it, but.
Yo, well, for anyone who doesn't know, Heinz and I are actually the same person. We both have degrees in linguistics.
It's
grew
true.
up playing Gen 3 and live in West Michigan.
That's true. Yeah, that's right. You're like 2 hours away, maybe.
Probably less than that.
Yeah, that's probably less. What, Zealand, right?
Yeah. So I can almost drive down to the south, like the border of Michigan in an hour.
Oh yeah, Indiana, yeah. Bide, perfect. So you want Bide. He has Detect, and I can obviously not just waste time, but also your Mudshot PP is a little bit tight. I had a practice run yesterday where I missed probably... I mean, I had to reset a few times because I died to the misses, but in total, like on the the saves that I actually continued from, I think I lost like 8 Mudshot PP just to misses and Detect. It's insane. So we're going to be fighting Brawly early, and one of the unique things about Gen 3 is that you can, this is forced. If you saw, Etiquette's run, which was really good the other day, and the remakes, they force Brawly early because you can't give Steven the letter until you fight Brawly. But in Ruby and Sapphire, we used to fight him late because we could use Abra to kind of get back here a little bit more quickly in terms of transit time. But now we fight him early, both to save on transit time and because he gives us very valuable experience. So he just used Karate Chop, which is good. He can bulk up, and it becomes a lot more complicated. You kind of have to pay attention. This is, that was a bad first roll, and then he just bulked up. So he could live here if he does. I'm just resetting. That's why I saved. Nice. Good death. The Makuhita is 3 and 16 to be hit into heal range. So I want a low-ish roll. That is, I think it's heal range. That's definitely heal range. I'll try and play this out, but I could die here. So I didn't take much damage from. Yeah. Okay. So whatever. That was probably, that's not the highest roll, but it was probably the second highest roll. And that was actually, the problem is you can't always 2-hit KO when he. Wow, nice. Okay, cool.
Heinz, do you want to explain the theory behind early Brawly here? I know that you can delay doing the Brawly gym.
So the main reasoning, and we're going to be coming up to the fights that you benefit the most from it. A long time ago, we used to use Rock Tomb primarily because of the Rival 2 fight. Because it was the one way you could drop its speed and still 2-hit KO, because your only other option for a speed dropping move is Mudshot. You can get Soft Sand to boost your ground type moves, but you also need pretty good attack and you need level 18. And so what we used to do when we would catch Abra is we would, because Abra is very rare, 10% encounter rate, and only like 40% to go on the ball or something. We would kill a lot of the rock type Pokemon, Aron and Geodude, in the gym, or not the gym, in the cave, while we're looking for Abra in order to get the experience to get level 18, right? That obviously wastes a ton of time. But because we were looking for Abra, and that's why we did it, we were trying to make the best of a bad situation, I suppose you could say. But now that we're doing Abraless, we'll get Soft Sand here from this little girl. Also Tuber Manip. Because we are skipping Abra, we need some way to get level. One thing you mentioned is how few required trainers there are, and obviously in any Pokemon speedrun, you're trying to avoid as many optional trainers as possible. So specifically on the next route in Emerald, there's a required Plusle and Minin trainer that we can just avoid. in Sapphire, and so we are only level 17 at best going into Rival 2, and that's very, very key to have level 18. So we do
For the
Brawly
damage rolls?
Yeah.
Is the same thing with like the 0358 rule? The damage?
0358.
At least in Gen 1, you get more damage out of levels 0358.
Oh,
because
yeah, I think the damage formula is a little bit different. I don't know specifically how it, I just know what the rolls end up to be. It has 52 HP, and so ideally you do minimum 26 damage. I think this Mudkip does minimum 27 damage. I mean, if you're only level 17, also you remember you obviously take a lot more damage from Absorb too. So you're probably going to be hit into quick attack range, which means you're going to need another healing item. Your money is really tight because it's Sapphire and you don't fight any trainer. So there's just so much intertwining variables. So we get level 18 there. But it's not just Grovyle, level 18 for Grovyle. There's also Wattson, which we want 21 for Watson's Magnemite. And we want 23 for Cool Trainer Brooke, who is a notorious run killer, mostly in English, not less so in Japanese, but we'll get to that. But level 23 really benefits us there. And I actually recently tried to route Abra for Japanese, and not only does it seem a little bit slower, it's really tough, and that's one of the main reasons, is because there's no good way. You need to get level 18 for Grovyle, but if you just perfectly get level 18 for Grovyle, you don't get the other two benefits that I just listed, which is 21 for Magnemite and 23 for Roselia, or for Brooke in general. So yeah, you can lose a lot of time. CTB.
Cool
Yeah.
Trainer Brooke.
She's cruel. So we're gonna be heading up this way to fight the second rival fight. And this is the trainer that you can avoid. That you have to fight in Emerald. We're gonna equip the use a repel and equip the soft sand. We're also at perfect HP. I'll explain that in the fight here.
Yeah, I remember the first time I tried to run this by the speedrun route, like just learning the speedrun route, I didn't know about the HP requirement going into the fight. Yeah. And I couldn't do it and was really confused.
Yeah, this was not known for a long time, but no matter if you're the boy or the girl, the boy leads Numel, the girl leads Whalmer. The Whalmer does more damage, so that's actually another reason why it's beneficial to be the girl here. But they both know Growl, and the way the AI works is very common in Gen 3 in general, is when they have a status move or a damaging move, they will favor the damaging move if you're lower HP and favor the status move if you're higher HP. And so if you're 70% or higher HP, then you're favored to get Growl, and Growl just kills your run because you don't have the money to buy extra X attacks. So we set up 2X attacks, 1X speed. We're going to finish off, then we heal the full, we're going to finish off the Numel with Mud Slap. We could use Water Gun, but I use Mud Slap to save Water Guns because you actually need 2 extra Water Guns in Japanese. So we get hit by, you also, Shiro's run earlier, but you get hit by that first one, so he doesn't heal himself. And then by dropping his speed with the first Mud Shot, we're now going to outspeed him and we're going to be able to finish him off. I used Tackle there to save a Mud Shot because that was a good first roll. You're almost always able to do that in Emerald because you're level 19 in Emerald because of the Plusle fight. The other benefit here is because you get level 19 for the Whalmer, you can Oko the Whalmer, but it's only, this is God Kip stuff only, keeping in mind, you cannot do this with a regular Kip.
And then, so you're using the strat where you use Mud Shot on Grovyle when you're slower, so you get hit once, and then Mud Shot lowers its speed, and you've used 1x speed already, I think, so then you outspeed it?
Yep.
After the Mud Shot.
Exactly.
So that's how you avoid dying to Grovyle despite being ridiculously underleveled for fighting Grovyle at that point.
Yeah, and I just picked up earlier I picked up a full heal. And right there I just picked up a revive. I'm going to need the revive to heal Wingle because I sacked Wingle in the Geodude fight, but I'll need to sack Wingle again for Archie, so we'll get to that. But also that last trainer I passed the Abra, or this rotating guy, and then before that I paused to pass the trainer before that, right after I got the revive. There are certain trainers, just because of the way their vision works and the way they turn when you run up to them, and because of the way their timer works, like I was saying, in terms of, you know, whether it's 32, 48, 64, what frame they can turn on, some of them you just have to pause for, because pausing deloads them, and then you can safely exit the pause menu, and they're frozen for that period of time, so then you can just walk past them. Wait, I want to do this. So I'm going to use a Ether, which I picked up in Petalburg Woods on the Mud Shot. Heal with a potion. There's a reason why I'm not healing to full, and it has a lot to do similar with the Rival 2 fight. I'm going to teach Rock Smash. You'll notice I didn't catch a Zigzagoon. I don't know if I encountered one, but I don't catch it. Also, because a Zigzagoon would add to your party, it means that we would need a different Wingle Manip, because it would throw off our current Wingle Manip. So if anyone ever wants to figure that out and reintroduce Zig, be my guest. But Zigless is actually really nice. It just kind of simplifies things. You don't have to worry about the main benefit of Zig being pickup. You know, it can pick up early rare candies, which could completely change the route, and it could save a lot of time over a standard run, even though it's very unlikely. It's blurring the screen because my cap card's not very good. So.
Yeah, Heinz has some interlacing issues, but
Yeah, right.
I don't judge.
Yeah. Hey, it's just proof call, you know. Just need it for verification purposes, but
I wonder if I can actually hold on. Wonder if I can improve this at all.
Hey, it's up to you.
I might be able to make the quality slightly better for the stream. It's possible it's not gonna work.
Double detect. It's okay, because he's using it on Water Gun right now. I'm leading Water Gun. This is another benefit of a really good Mudkip, is that you do not speed this unless you have the speed that I have, which is 30. So you would have to actually lead Mud Shot to slow it down. But Mud Shot has a speed lowering animation, so it's ideal if you Water Gun and then Mud Shot. Even though you would otherwise want to play to the situation where you critical Mud Shot, but that's just so unlikely that you know, you just Water Gun into Mud Shot. So I am X speeding on this fight. You only have 1 X speed left because of how tight your money is. So you really kind of have to budget the way you're you know, using your items in this game. But I could either use an X speed on this fight or on Wattson himself. It's really important that you X speed on Wattson in English, and because of that, you can't X speed on this fight, so you have to heal to full, because all 3 of these Voltorbs know Sonic Boom, and if they all Sonic Boom, then, you know, you're down to, you could potentially die if you miss anything, and also obviously you take almost all your HP.
Yeah, it's a really annoying fight from a HP management perspective, because you want to be like managing around Torrent, and you can't really do that if you're taking an unknown amount of damage in group of 20.
Well, also not just Torrent, but also going into this fight, you don't want to be above 70% HP, because that means that the Magnemite's going to favor Supersonic. And in English, this Magnemite is plus speed, but and it outspeeds you by 1 point. It has 33 speed and you have 32. But in Japanese, it's neutral, so it's 30 speed, so you just straight up outspeed it. So I'm just gonna outspeed it. The only thing I'm risking here is that if I get Sonic Boom from the Voltorb, I'll die, because I'll get Sonic Boom, and die, because they both do 20. I want Rollout. He did Sonic Boom. Okay, I'm just gonna have to reset this. But if I could get Sonic Boom miss from the Magneton, so I'll just try it. But the Voltorb very heavily favors Rollout. Okay, that's fine. But the Voltorb can also use Explosion or Self-Destruct. But the main toss-up is, okay, so I could route in another X speed for this fight to make sure that I outspeed the Voltorb and the Magneton. But if I set it up on the Magnemite, then I'm risking Supersonic. And if I set it up on the Voltorb, well, I'm risking Self-Destruct anyway. So I decided, okay, you know what? I'm just going to use the X speed on the Voltorb guy. That way I can heal with a regular potion, not having to heal to full, so I can lower my odds of getting Supersonic from the Magneton, because it also has Supersonic.
Honestly, the fact that you didn't die until that point in the run is almost amazing.
That's awesome. No, this has actually been pretty good. I'm just not going to focus about that, but, you know, whatever. It could get a lot worse. I mean, Norman's been giving me a lot of trouble lately, so I'll have to, you know, get Sonic Boom. That's good. Because we also want to be lower HP going into the next fight because the Wingull has Growl as well and Supersonic. So it's like so much little HP management in this early mid game that it's.
I really enjoy how you are. We talk about you being underleveled, and then you fight a Voltorb that does 1 damage to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, for some reason he just favors the way the AI. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, we haven't like disassembled the AI, or I think maybe somebody's been working on it, maybe Revo, but for some reason he favors rollout. I think just because it's a kind of a rack up type of a move, But otherwise, I mean, he can just kill you in 1 hit with self-destruct. So I've lost runs to that, but you'd be surprised how rarely he uses it, despite the fact that it just kills you. Whereas normally a lot of AI just favors to kill you. It will favor whatever move will kill you.
If it can, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I'm going to repel here. This is going to be one of the first hard spinner minutes, kind of. We're going down to deload him. Oh, shit.
Heinz,
That was
Lang.
close. Wait, what did I just say?
It's all... No, yeah. So the hiker there, you can force him to reset his direction by going down, right? And then
Yes.
you can
Yep.
pass him a lot more easily.
So because you pass from below in 7 tiles, or you load spinners from below in 7 tiles, 7 tiles away, and the bike moves at 4 frames per tile. 7 tiles is then 28 frames, and because the spinner can't move until the 32nd frame after it's been loaded, you can pass it guaranteed. So you notice I just did that in another spot just after that, where I biked down and then back up, and it was to deload because they will load from facing a default direction basically. That
And you
Roselia,
can do that from left to right because there's more tiles left to right. You have
Exactly.
to do it up down.
Yep, they load from 9 tiles away, left to right, or from above. So that Roselia is a big run killer in English because it's plus defense, or no, I think it's neutral defense in English and it's minus defense in Japanese. So it's a 77% range in English, and it just kills you obviously with Mega Drain. We're gonna revive the Wingull here, but it's guaranteed to die in Japanese, which is just that alone. I knew that a while ago, but that alone is just so big. So this is gonna be our first big shopping trip, but we're gonna pick up a nugget here. So sell a couple of our TMs, sell bulk up, sell steel wing, which we got from Steven, save shockwave for later. 3 supers.
That was some crisp movement there, getting that nugget and then to the shop.
That's pretty good. Oh wait, no, shit, that was close. Kind of a bad shop.
Heinz, do you want to explain the any percent glitches that are available in the Japanese Sapphire game, where the English game doesn't have any glitches?
Yeah. What is it? He just essentially uses a candy dupe. So the main guy who's done it is Epic Dude Guy, and he just does a candy dupe where he I actually can't remember how it works. They thought it only worked with Trick, but it actually works with Thief. And it turns out you can get Thief. I mean, we actually used to sell Thief, but you can get Thief in the museum. Excellent. Yes, that was so good. So you use Thief. I can't remember. It has to do with mail too. So you use Thief on a Pokemon with mail, but it can't steal the mail. So then you continue trying to give mail or give a rare candy to the Pokemon who now has glitched mail, and then it just dupes a candy every time you do it, or something like that. I haven't done. I did a run a long time ago, but I didn't. I died to Steven, and I was like, oh, I never did that again. But yeah. So that allows you to beat the game. I don't know, probably like 10 minutes faster. Wow, that was actually all very good. Holy shit.
So here's where part of the land storyline picks up in Sapphire, where Team Magma is trying to expand the land mass
Yeah.
by using the power of a meteorite.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever floats.
Deus
the
Ex
boat.
Machina, right?
Oh yeah.
Upcoming here. Oh, so I just got strength from this dude for smashing the rock and uniting him with his girlfriend. Cool, And upcoming here, normally I'd be able to pass this guy in English Sapphire, but he's actually required in both Emerald and in English Emerald and in this game. So he actually he gives you a little bit. I won't say he's useless. He guarantees that you get 25 for Archie's Mightyena, which is kind of useful. But you do require 1 more Mudshot for his Machop and 2 more Water Guns for his Geodude. For his 2 Geodudes, and the reason why I didn't try and bike up to him is because the rappel is very tight, and I could get any. Because if I bike up to him, it will run out before the end of the cave, and I could get it.
Gotcha.
So. Nice. This Godkip also can just OHKO that Machop, which is definitely not possible otherwise. So, like I said, I'm saving really liberally, mostly before these movement sections. This movement is a little bit trickier than it is in English because you have to go up an extra tile to avoid this bug catcher dude. So I get rid of Water Gun now for strength. I'm going to save here. I don't want to hit any optionals, even though I could possibly make it work. I want to...
So yeah, one of the techniques he's using here is because he has to open his bag as part of the trainer spinner manip, he is using that bag to teach strength, do some other useful things to set up the rest of his run.
Exactly.
He's not just wasting that one menu open.
So also in a lot of these cases, as Travis mentioned earlier, I'm mounting the bike really quick after I run to make the trainer look. Mounting your bike takes 3 frames, and while the initial burst of movement from the mock bike is 16 frames, which is the same as walking, then the next tile speeds up to 8 frames and then 4 frames for the duration of until you walk again or until you stop, and that just extra little burst of movement oftentimes allows you to pass trainers that you would otherwise be unable to pass because with just normal run into walk. Early on in the game, I did run into walk manip in Petalburg Woods and a couple other spots. By the way, though, Shiru's movement is godlike. So I don't know. I didn't watch his Emerald run earlier. I didn't see the beginning of it, but specifically on the second pass there through Route 116, you can bonk off that trainer that looks up and down. Janice, she's like I think it's Karen in Emerald, but and then just really quick go into a run down, run up bike, and I always just stop for a second. Okay, I'm gonna collect myself, find my wallet, and then get going. But Shiru's definitely best. He also does dual wield, which is something that I've never really gotten into, but he uses both SP and GameCube controller, since you can take inputs from both of them. But the reason why I use GameCube controllers primarily for the run into bike manip, because X and Y are the select buttons, and they're much closer to and much easier to push than they are to be on the SP controller, which is what I use to use. So we'll leave Wingle here. I will save. I'm not at exactly full health, obviously, but So this is the first Archie fight. This is one of the biggest bangers in the game, of course. For those of you who are a fan of Gen 3 music, this is definitely top 5.
Top 5, gotcha.
What?
I'm just nostalgic for this whole game because of being part of my childhood.
Oh yeah, this was a great game. This was definitely peak Pokemon for me. Back in the day, hanging with the bros, So we set up a guard spec to avoid Sand Attack, but he'll guaranteed knock out the Wingle, and then we use also Wingle to tank the Intimidate. So now when we switch in, our attack is dropped from the Intimidate. So then we'll start setting up. We want Sand Attack, very nice. So we set up an X attack and an X speed. This fight's a little bit different in Emerald because you're like 2 levels higher, I think, or like at least a level higher. And you leave Mudshot, I think. Wow, I just got Sand Attack spam, nice. The one, you actually do want at least like 1 or 2 bites, depending on what you go into. Okay, that's good. Because otherwise, I still don't think it's actually low enough. because otherwise the Golbat, which you have to two-shot, does have Supersonic, so he could use it, but I'm going to tackle to avoid heal range on the Zubat, or on the Golbat, and I did get Supersonic hit, which is okay, because that's why I picked up the full heal. So I'm using the full heal. It's not ideal, and that's also not ideal.
Not ideal.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, your heal powders, you buy heal powders later, which is the same thing as a full heal. Strength this, because it's guaranteed, even though I do take rough skin, but that way I don't die to missing much up. Oh, I actually saved time over PB, even though I saved like 3 times. What was I doing? Oh yeah, you don't really have a lot of money, as I keep saying, but I'm gonna keep emphasizing you have no money. So my...
Yeah, another artifact of the lack of being forced to fight trainers is that you don't get money, and therefore it's really difficult to manage your item count. Which is part of why a lot of routes at some point used to get Zigzagoon, right? So that you could get pickup items and help manage your item count with that.
Yeah, exactly. You can pick up Nugget or Protein or just things that sell for...
Or a rare candy and then just like win.
Well, yeah, the rare candy's the best. I actually, when I was doing some of the routing for trying to figure out how to use Zig, I couldn't really think of what to use the money for early on, because like some of the fights, they're just routed as clean as they can be. And there's not much you could do to improve it. I mean, at best, you would just buy extra X items for safety or extra healing items for safety, but it usually means that you ended up in a bad situation anyway. You know, if you end up needing the extra healing item. So it is a very efficient route, but you know, risky for sure. So we're gonna swap our pokes. We're gonna heal almost to full. I should have repelled first, because I'm gonna repel here because I'm gonna pick up a desert. I'm gonna pick up the candy in the desert after this, before I die, because I'm gonna intentionally get poisoned on this fight. This was hypothesized as far back as I think 2013 in the Torchic route by Green Mittens, who is an old name in the Sapphire lore. But essentially, we used to set up on the second Slugma because he doesn't have Smog, but instead we set up on the first Slugma to intentionally get poisoned and then die after the fight. So I'm probably gonna reset here a few times.
Hey,
just to
spoilers! Spoilers, Heinz.
Spoilers? Oh, sorry. Oh, what was I supposed to? Oh, crap! He poisoned me. No.
Oh no! What am I gonna do?
Well, unfortunately, Smog missed. So please Smog me. Okay, that's good. Please. Good. Wow, I just got poisoned. Holy crap. Okay, so I set up to +3. In English, I could keep going here and just one-shot I'd have a 77% chance to OHKO the Torkoal, because the Torkoal is minus neutral defense? No, I think it's minus defense in English. But it's, you know, it's either minus defense and neutral defense in Japanese, or neutral defense in English and plus defense in Japanese. You know, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it has higher defense in Japanese, so I really need +4. So I set up 4 X attacks to be able to just one-shot the Torkoal.
Yeah, you can do 3 or 4, right? But 4 is safer.
4 is yeah. I can't remember what the range is in Japanese. It's pretty bad. I don't even think it's favorable.
Oh, I see. It's worse
in Japanese.
Japanese.
It's definitely it's like I said, 77% in English. But wow, that was a really good fight. Okay. Well,
Heinz over here like, what is this Sapphire?
What's going on? That was really good. Okay. So I am going to heal. You know, this is one of those things where one of the cool things about this Death Warp is if I leave that fight with really low HP, which I have reasonably low HP, I can actually intentionally die in the gym, and then I will still get to Petalburg, but I will skip this cutscene outside of outside the gym where you get the Go Goggles, which is a little bit faster in Japanese, obviously, because the text is faster, but still would be ideal to skip it. In my attempts, I was getting this candy just because, you know, there's some reasons later why you might want it. You know,
oh, are you doing the desert candy?
I'm doing desert candy. Yeah, oh, yeah. I don't screw around. Yeah.
Desert.
But especially for a marathon, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I'll be buying 2 of each of these. I really would like to be able to buy more. Actually, I probably could. Nah, I'm not going to. That's good.
So yeah, the gist of what Heinz is saying is you can Death Warp from inside the gym, but for marathon strats, he's going to first go here, and buy some items, and also then go to the desert and grab a rare candy before he blacks out from the poison. And if he is not Shiru, he will be able to get there in time.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I just used a super potion. I probably could have used a potion, but it would have been. I could have used a I forgot I had a regular potion, but. Please see this come out. Okay, so I'm gonna save. I don't want to use any. I'm in kind of a tight spot. I only have 2 heal powders. The most I would have here is 3 anyway, because I could still have the full heal from earlier, which I used on Golbat. This is probably one of the worst. If Cosmo's in chat, he knows what I'm talking about. He has had just the time of his life with his Delcatty, but basically the way the gym works is, I think this is the same in Emerald, but you know, every room at each level has a choice between 2 of the same exact Pokemon, but the trainer teaches a different X item. So the other room in this case uses X speed on the Delcatty. In this case, it uses X accuracy. X speed is better because if it outspeeds you, you know, if it uses X speed, it naturally outspeeds you. So if it X speeds and then you mudshot, then it's still neutral speed, so it still outspeeds you. But in this case, he's going to X act, so his Sing is going to be more accurate. But I will still outspeed. That is like the best crit in the game. Oh my god. Oh my god. What am I playing? Whew, that's why I saved though, because if you miss that mudshot, then you're just outsped, and he has boosted accuracy on his Sing and has attract as well, and Q charm, so that strength can just straight up like attract me, and he has attract anyway, so it's like you want him to use Growl. She never uses Growl, ever.
Heinz, was that candy in the desert in a different location? Is that Boulder in a different location than English?
No, it's the same spot.
Okay, I don't know why I thought it looked different, but I must be just bad.
Yeah, you know.
Ignore me.
We're all bad. This is the X defends Zigzagoon, so he's a 4-shot. He's like he's slightly lower defense. I think he's minus defense in this compared to English, but so you can 3-shot with Mudshot, but it's obviously it's a pretty tough range, and obviously the speed fall animation is bad, and also the potential to miss is bad. So this is a big deal though. Here, oh shit, I almost forgot to heal. So we will heal to full hero, because if I should take no damage here, and then I'm all set for Norman. But this Zangoose, in English, both Zangooses, the Dire Hit room, which is critical, and the X Attack room, which is obviously boosted attack, have the same exact defense. And it's still, even with God stats, you'd be surprised, still a slight range on the Mudshot 2-hit KO. But in this version, on the left side, he's minus defense, so you can just Mudshot strength, and it's basically the same range. Actually, I think it's slightly better, and you don't have to risk the second miss. So
nice.
Just godlike. There's little things like that. I'm like, ugh. But Norman's a lot worse, so get ready. I'm probably gonna lose all my time here.
Yeah, get ready for the reason that this estimate is 25 minutes behind the world record.
Yeah. Well, it's this. It's actually mostly this. So in English, so we do a +2 strat that was pioneered also by Epic Dude Guy, but it's really only possible with these great stats. There's a little bit of extra experience that you can get to candy early later, and I could get the experience if I get a Geodude encounter, which I actually didn't get in this run earlier, but it would give me level 29 for this fight, and that's really not good because you already can kind of hit this Slaking into heal range if you get 2 high rolls. In English, we Mudshot. But in Japanese, I Mudshot strength because he's minus defense in Japanese. So if he crits me, I'm dead.
It's interesting walking that fine line between trying to be not too under-leveled and then also trying not to hit things in the heal range.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I didn't heal on that turn because he's loafing, obviously. So it's very. If you're low HP there, you can actually bait a feint attack, which does less damage, but I didn't get it. So well, that's what we needed.
The loafing is the Slaking's nature thing, right? So every other turn it just does nothing because.
Yes. Well, his ability, but yeah.
Yeah, ability, not nature. I'm a Gen 1 runner!
That's all good. Hey, when are you gonna play
Sapphire,
Sapphire, dude? It's been I mean, Keyzeron's back, dude. You know, we got Escola was playing a bit, I think.
Yeah, I'll have to pop the card in at some point and actually learn it. I really want to do the biking with my low input lag setup. It should be really fun.
And I get the yawn pattern, which is not good.
The biking is really, really fast in Gen 3, so it's particularly useful to have a setup that is very, very optimal for input lag. So either using an analog TV or having a GameCube with proper video outputs and a really low input lag monitor.
Yeah, I am pretty sure that Tyrant runs on an LCD, and I don't know how he does it. Oh, please die. Am I about to miss this range? It's impossible, right? Okay, good. Like,
yeah, I don't think Tyrant has the setup, but the modern way you want to do it with an LCD, get a really modern monitor that has a fast input lag, of course, and then also to use the GCHD HDMI solution from the GameCube, because the GameCube is actually capable of native HDMI out via the digital port if you have the right model GameCube.
Yeah, so you got the nerd strats. There you go.
Yeah, nerd strats.
Oh yeah. So we heal here, going into the Slaking because he will favor Facade. The AI seems a little bit different from Emerald because in Emerald he really seems to just spam Focus Punch even if he can kill you with Facade. In Sapphire he will try and kill you with Facade if he can, and Facade does 40 to 48. So I was trying to heal out of Facade range. I try and do this really gimmicky. He did Facade. Unbelievable. He should. Oh nice, I got the defense drop. Should I have healed on that turn? Oh, I'm gonna go for this. I could die here, but
Go for it!
I'm just gonna go for this. Because I just got a really good roll there. Oh, he did. No, he did just Please die. Yes! Oh my god. Yes! That's amazing. So he actually did, yeah, that's really weird. He just did the Emerald crap. What the heck is that? I'm in the middle of saying he doesn't do that. That's exactly what he does in Emerald. He just uses Facade first turn, and then he just spams Focus Punch.
Would you say that has never happened before?
That's never happened. Oh my god. But I just got really good rolls there. I got the defense drop from the rock smash. What I normally do is go for 2 rock smashes, and if I don't get the defense drop on either of them, then I just try and 3-hit KO from there, usually like mud shot, tackle, mud shot, which is obviously terrible because you're relying on 2 95% accurate moves. That was so good fun. Oh my god. So now we're gonna get Surf from Wally's uncle. I don't know what he's doing with that, but
was that a sub 1 hour, Norman?
no, it was 1 hour 23 seconds. So that was close, but
okay.
I did die once, so. So we're gonna teach Surf and use a Super Repel before we get our first rare candy, which is conveniently hidden in this pond that you require Surf to access anyway. So.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I thought was really interesting about this gen, and this game specifically, is the way it segments the first 4 and 5th through 8 badges.
Oh yeah.
So once you get Surf after Gym 4, it unlocks the whole second area of the continent.
Yeah, it's actually really well designed if you ask me, but everybody complains about the water.
I think that was a great design choice.
Yeah. And you also can't... Oh wait. You also can't fight Norman until you've got 4 gyms, or 4 badges, and it gives you the option to fight them in a certain order, or in different order, depending on what you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like it bundles gyms 1 through 4 in like its own little storyline.
Yeah. So that trainer, what? Yeah, that's really cool.
Go ahead.
That trainer has most of the running trainers seem to have longer vision in this game compared to English. So you have to do a different movement there in English. But what I do there instead is I load him, and because of the way the timing works out, then I turn upward. Normally we just turn downward in English because he just can't see you. But I found out the hard way that he can see you. So, and Ringo figured that out, so I learned that straight up from his run. So this is the 110 candy for you memers out there. And now we're just passing back
110? Is that like the route name? Or?
Yeah, we're at 110, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, damn. Okay, I messed that up, but I didn't hit him, so. That's some of the coolest movement. To do it fast, you just straight up just zigzag through there, and he can't see you. But if you bonk 1 tile before where I just did, then he sees you. But otherwise, you have time to get out of the way.
Oh, you bonked on the turn with the
rotator.
The rotator, yeah, not the spinner, the rotator.
Yeah. Up here is another trainer that you have to. There's a fast way to just manip him to look. If you dismount, run into bike into pause, which is just I haven't learned it very well. So I'm pretty bad at it, so I just pause. But because if you don't do that, you usually end up having usually turns in time. You usually end up having to wait like I just did, but you can't manip him any other way, so you just have to pause.
Etiquette, you fool. You triggering fool.
Ah, so close.
This is where you get Latios.
This is where you get Latios. Yeah, yeah, dude. No offense. I really enjoyed Etiquette's run, and I think the remakes are cool, and I actually like watching streams of the speedruns. But I personally, it's probably because I played the crap out of this game, and I probably ruined it for myself. I'll admit that. But I just really couldn't. Once they gave me Latios, I was like, what were you thinking? You just with 3 perfect IVs, like what? As a casual player, how am I supposed to make a different choice? I have to literally just arbitrarily go deposit this in my box if I want to, you know, play through the game normally. But it is what it is, you know. Yeah, you can't bike through the tall grass, yeah.
Hey, that provides for cool movement tech etiquette.
Very true,
that's
yes. Yeah. You can actually run, you can like dismount and then run into the grass. And I'm really bad at that too. There's like a few tiny little frame saves involving the bike that I'm just not very proficient at. But hey, tune in to Shiru. And here is another trainer that I just have to pause. So I have Torrent for Shelly, but I don't have enough experience to where I'm level 31. If I was 31 here, I could candy 3 times to dude, come on, are you serious? I could candy 3 times to this is actually not gonna manip him, but I'm just saving anyway because I could die to Shelly, but oh, seriously? Okay. I didn't enter my bag, so you could just see me. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so anyway, so I have 3 candy, so if I got a wild encounter, which I could have gotten a tentacle encounter on the other routes there, I could have killed it to get level 31 before this fight, then I could have candied to level 34 before this, and then I would have Torrent with level 34 for Shelly, and then I could Oko the Mightyena. I'm pretty sure that you always get that for an Emerald or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but it's definitely a lot easier. This is a really troll fight because she has Swagger, and if she uses Swagger, you're just at the mercy of, yep, I get Swagger. Okay, I could heal this off, but I don't have a ton of heal powders, so I'm just gonna YOLO. And if I hit myself, okay, that's awesome. I was just gonna reset if I didn't get it, but
yeah, you saved recently, so it's not the end of the world.
That's kind of an arbitrary, just not run killer, but just it can be a headache because depending on your heal powder count, you know, I only buy 2 in my current shopping route, and if I use the full heal, or you know, in this case, I actually also got Yawn on Slaking, so it's like, but we get a free heal here because we can just take this bed. And then this will be the now I will use the yeah, you get cast form, yeah, but you don't name it because they don't give you the option.
Interesting.
So now I'm gonna candy to 34. In English Sapphire, because you don't fight Mike, which was the hiker in so I quit Mystic
That's
Water.
interesting. You waste half half a level's experience there.
Yeah. In English, you need high experience to even get 31 before this fight because you don't have Mike's experience. So it creates a couple effects later on where like where you speed tie the Doduo if you didn't get the experience. And keeping in mind, you obviously ideally don't want the extra experience because you don't want the encounter. But
no, you just took off the soft sand and put on another item, right? What was the name of that item again? I'm forgetting.
Mystic Water, which
Mystic Water,
comes naturally equipped to the cast form. So I removed it from the cast form and gave it to. So yeah, so we're done with soft sand for the duration of the run. So I can just spam strength. This is much more straightforward than the other rival fight. If I was 31, like I am in English, then I would have to mudshot the Whalmer, but I don't have to risk that because I always get 34 with the Japanese experience due to the extra. This was another big issue with back in the day having to manip for having to just reset for Kips randomly or take, you know, worseman of Kips is the Grovyle could actually be an Oko range.
Mm.
So now we're gonna go through Fortree, but we're not gonna stop there. We're gonna, you know, you can't get into the gym yet because it's blocked by an invisible Kecleon, so you have to go this way and get the Devon Scope from Steven. Which is, this is the main joke everyone makes in marathon runs of Sapphire, obviously. Which you actually, I take that back. In this case, we're not going to see the text because none of you can speak Japanese, but yeah, he does say your battle style is intriguing after we, you know.
There's one of those
Just run
locations where you have to dismount the bike and go through the tall grass.
Yes, yep. And actually, depending on, I guess you get a little bit more money in this game because of the extra trainers, so I was able to buy a repel for the Desert Candy and have a repel to get through that grass, but if you, in the English route, if you don't have a repel there because you got Desert Candy, then you have to go around and risk like 2 tiles. So it's a little bit slower, but it's actually, it's definitely worth it. But this is the Doduo that you would speed tie if you didn't have the extra experience, which is actually annoying because he can do a ton of damage. Depending on how much damage you take on Rival 3, he could kill you with Tri-Attack or obviously Status you, but we can just outspeed and knock him out with Surf. The next trainer is a Swablu, which can also put us to sleep. So like, there's all these little spots where you could get status, but you're not likely to get status because of random AI, and obviously Sing can also miss. But we can't Oko the Swablu unless we have Torrent, and even then I believe it's a range. But we just hope for Safeguard, which I can't remember what it is, but I can't remember what the name is, but and we got Sing, and it missed. Cool. So I actually do have a potion left over, so I'll use that to heal just before Swellow. This is another huge, huge difference with Japanese versus English. I think this is one of them that kind of breaks it for English and really makes it for Japanese, and that's that we set up 1x special on Winona to knock out Swellow, and also Torrent Oko the Skarmory with Surf. But the Swellow, if you don't have Torrent in English, is, even with Mystic Water and at +1, and Stab, and it's a 95 power move, you know, it's a 62, it's a 10 and 16 range, it's 5 and 8 range. Whereas in Japanese it's minus, it just so happens to be minus special defense. So it is.
So Heinz, in the Winona fight coming up here, is it as trolly with Protect as it is in English?
Yeah, and it's a little bit trollier too because the other aspect of this fight is the Swellow or the Altaria in English. You aim to Oko the Altaria, whereas Abra strats used to 2 KO. The Altaria is hasty, so it's minus defense in English, but it's neutral defense in Japanese, so you actually need +6. You have to set up all the way to +6 in Japanese. So you're setting up on the Pelipper, so it has more chance to hit you, and when it hits you, I'm gonna reset if I miss this too many times. This is the troll anyway. Okay, I missed him once. I won't take any
double
more
team
misses.
from the Swallow, yeah.
Yeah. I just kind of want to. Okay, that's cool. I'll take 1 miss. But that's the main issue with this fight in English, is that not only are you missing all these, you know, with all these surfs with the double team, but also even when you hit him, you might not knock him out. And I actually get the supersonic. Damn it. It's okay. I'll just buy 4 and So he's spamming Protect, but I want him to hit me. Unfortunately, I entered the fight at this high of HP because Swellow can do a lot of damage to you. That's okay. A little bit of Protect spam is what I want, but I do need him to hit me. Just don't hit me again. Okay. It's okay, I can live another hit, and I need 2 more turns of setup. And he does Protect, that's great. Yeah, it's really good. That's really good. Oh, I didn't heal. I didn't heal Confusion. Alright, that's dumb. Okay, take 2.
Was that a potential language barrier?
No, I just forgot to heal because you pretty much never get supersonic. You're usually
Gotcha.
you're usually disfavored to get supersonic.
Yeah, I do remember hearing you saying that you got supersonic.
Yeah. Then I forgot that I heard myself say it too. Okay, good. Now we got aerial ace there, so. And I got
now we've seen a little bit more of the usual Sapphire because we've had what 2 or 3 deaths now.
Just 2.
2? Still not too bad.
Pretty sure just 2. Yeah, this is actually extremely good. So that was just a simple misplay, but now I can't get supersonic because I'm below 50, so I really want protect. That's exactly what I'm getting. Very nice. And I'll probably the thing is, this is similar to other situations in the game. I have super potions, which won't heal me to full, but I don't want to be healed to full because I want to manipulate Torrent to be able to knock out the Skarmory, and if I heal too high, then the Pelipper will favor supersonic, so, and then I'll have to burn a heal powder. I'm actually kind of glad I made that mistake because now I will have another heal powder. So just Mamoru again. Okay, no, that's okay. Because he'll hit me here, and this should hit me into Torrent. It might not. Oh, it should. Not a good roll. Okay, just give me one more hit, please. Good. Nice. Okay, that kind of sucks because now my HP is gonna be bad for. That actually really sucks. But I'm gonna have to take it. So I want slightly higher HP because I want to. I'm basically setting up Torrent for one fight later, just to knock out one Mightyena, and low HP for TNL, Tate and Liza, which is the next gym leader. Gym leaders, I guess.
Which is probably one of the trolliest fights in Pokemon speedrunning.
Yeah. It's actually pretty good in Japanese because, especially if you get the Desert Candy, because it gives you 38 instead of 37 on the fight, and also the Soul Rock is minus special defense in Japanese, although the Lunatone is plus special defense. So it's sort of a trade-off, but I honestly think, based on my experience, I think Japanese does get the better end of it, so.
And now we've got Swampert, though, so we're in pretty freaking good shape. Swampert's a great Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
Probably one of the best starters in all of Pokemon, right?
Oh, yeah. I personally think he is the best. He's not my favorite. I was kind of a Trico guy as a kid, but someone was saying why use a physical moveset during the Oris run, and I was like, have you looked at Mudkip's base stats? As a Mudkip, he literally has base 70 attack. I'm gonna save right here just because I don't.
Yeah, that might actually just be the best starter in Pokemon.
That's insane. Like, I'm saving before this movement because I just don't want to mess it up. This is a little bit different than English if you've seen it done. Okay, that was good. That was actually perfect. Nice. So you can't avoid going. Normally in English you would go over this girl because she can't look up, and the guy above her who you can't see because he's hidden. He's like the ninja boy dude who hides, behind like the tree, like the fake tree. He can't. His vision is one less in English, so you can just go that
flash
way.
that trainer card.
Yeah. Well, it works the same. So the pause manip or the bag manip works with any.
You deload the map so that they don't.
Yeah. So we enter Lilycove really quick to be able to fly to it later.
Yep.
And then we're going to Malpire. Oh shit. That was so good. One bonk. But yeah, my HP is a bit low, and I should be okay. I just will have to save before the fight later, which I was probably going to do anyway. I teach Fly here. This is another time save over Swablu. Swablu knows 4 moves, so you have to override a move. So it actually is just so much better.
Overriding dance game.
So,
So Heinz, isn't it interesting that the red orb and blue orb play such little into the story? You'd think it would be a really big part of the story.
Yeah,
you have to get this orb back to someone.
Yeah.
Do you even have to return it in Sapphire, or do you just get it in some?
No, you I'm trying to think. You can. I mean, there's a post-game cutscene. Actually, I don't even think it has to be post-game. I think it just has to be after you finish the Kyogre section, where you either knock out Kyogre or you catch it or whatever. Where you go back to Mount Pyre and Archie's there, and I don't know if I think he might return the blue orb in that cutscene.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to watch it. We don't watch it in the game.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's not like a obligated part of the run when they make such a big deal of it being stolen. You'd think there'd be a big deal putting it back.
Yeah. No, Gifx, a regular potion would help here, but I just don't happen to have one. The fact that I even had one before Winona is not very common, so.
Aren't the orbs supposed to be like sealing off the power of Groudon and Kyogre?
I guess, yeah, something like that, yeah.
And then they were like, "Oh, we gotta unleash the legendary because that'll the legendary will want to increase the landmass
Right.
because it's Groudon or Kyogre or whoever
Right.
it is."
I always thought Kyogre was cooler, but that's just.
Well, Kyogre is one of the most OP legendaries up through Gen 3 because it had a what is it? A water spout?
Water Spout's OP, yeah. I don't know if Water Spout's a Gen 3 move though, is it?
It's like a 150 power, 90 accuracy.
Right. Well, it's based on
I
your
think-
HP, but I think it might be max 150.
Yeah. So it's just super overpowered.
Yeah. So we used to use this rare candy, for Swampert, but now we use it for Kyogre. So we still get it just to, and it helps a lot. Just one candy helps Kyogre so much. And the E4 is a bit tougher in Japanese, so. So yeah, the only thing, I want my HP to be between like 38, between I think 33 and 38. I think that's what my notes say. I haven't even looked at my notes at all. Because the upcoming Sharpedo could do up to 33 damage, but as we talked about, the max roll is 1 in 16, so it's unlikely. So 33 damage is still relatively safe. But it's okay because I outspeed the Sharpedo, which in English I would not outspeed. And this is a big thing. This is probably like the strawberry on top of the cake, or what, cherry on top, whatever you want to call it, for Japanese, in my opinion. Is that you're able to take Torrent from Winona, which you want anyway, to low HP to Torrent for this fight, to low HP for TNL. And you want low HP for TNL because you want them to attack you instead of using their setup moves, because their setup moves destroy you. But since you don't outspeed that Sharpedo in English, you give it a turn. And if it can't kill you, it'll probably use like Taunt or Scary Face. Scary Face is actually really bad because then the Winona outspeeds you, and then it can use Swagger and just all this other stupid stuff. So I'm not even sure what my strat is in English. I'm trying to think. I haven't done that in so long. It's just like, oh yeah, we're gonna get the Master Ball. I forgot. Master Ball for Kyogre. What's it saying? Oh yeah. Well, because we outspeed it in Japanese, but it's has higher defense in Japanese, so it is a range to knock out. But I think it's a good trade-off because it's a 77% range, which is perfectly reasonable. And also in this area is you can avoid all the trainers in English, but you're required to fight this trainer in Japanese. So I just walk up to her because she has a full vision across that whole up to the wall there. In Emerald, there's a forced double battle here, I think. But yeah, this is just, she literally just has one Z-Bat. It's kind of silly. So yeah, I am gonna save before this fight. Like I said, I would probably do it anyway, but I will die to the Sharpedo if I miss the range. So Otherwise, I will be healing before Titan lives up because, or I'll be healing before the gym because the Xatu before can kill you with Nightshade. So it's kind of unfortunate. You want at least like 38 HP because it's a level 37, so it does 37 damage with Nightshade. But
Heinz, did we ever actually explain what Torrent does, or did we just assume that
everyone knows what Torrent does? Actually, okay, this is a common misconception. If you look into the damage formula, at least in Gen 3, everyone says that it causes you to do 50% more damage. What the game actually does is I missed. Are you serious? All right, I'm just whatever. That's why I saved. If the game checks if you used a move correlating to the ability, which is water, grass, or fire, right? And then if you're using that move, it boosts your it boosts your relevant attack stat, well, in this case, I guess it's always special because fire, grass, and water are all special. It boosts those by 50%. So it's not a modifier on the damage output, it's a modifier on the stat that's used in the damage calculation.
So you'd actually do less than 50% more damage because of the way that the formula works.
I think, yeah. I hit the range, cool. And then Torrent allows me to Oko this Mightyena, which is otherwise a range, so.
So that's part of Torrent, like the way that being in low health, less than 1/3 of your health, increases your stat when you use a move that is stab on your Pokemon. Same type attack bonus.
Yeah.
In combination with the crit nature of Gen 3, where it's 1 in 16 for every crit.
Yeah.
That just amplifies the risk, and that's part of why every fight is so dangerous.
Yeah. And because you can miss Mudkip. Like, I just missed Mudkip. Straight up died, but...
Yeah. Yeah, so you've got, like, what? How many different factors going into the danger of every fight?
Like I said, it's all a very low chance. It's just that the fact that you have even a 3% chance to die in, maybe, over 50% of the fights means that the odds that you live are very low overall.
Yeah.
But Japanese, I'm telling you, for all you young, aspiring Gen 3 runners out there who want to play Sapphire instead of Emerald, just play Japanese. It's really, really, really rewarding because I get to TNL on regular runs so much more often than I ever would before. And I'm going to buy 5 Hyper Potions, 4 full heals, and because I kind of lost a lot of my full heals earlier, and 6 Master Repels, or Max Repel. We're getting dive here from Steven before the fight because we can use it to dodge Solar Beam. I still feel like we should have done this a lot sooner, but I didn't start doing it until I saw Buster, the Japanese runner, do it a few years ago. And since then, it's faster to do it, to get it after, but we just get it before because it's just better for the fight. So I'm going to use a Max Repel there, and I'm going to teach Dive over Mudshot. So now Swampert is literally an HM slave. He knows all HMs. And then I will save here. I probably shouldn't save here because I think I live 2 Nightshades, so this is dumb, but I'm going to save before TNL anyway. But so the only required trainer is this Xatu trainer. Oh no, the text is faster, but English or Pokemon in general, I get Wish. That's not cool. I really wanted to take damage. That's the problem with healing before Xatu, is that if you don't take damage because her AI is random. So I could have gone in at 28 and not died because she wouldn't necessarily use Nightshade. But I really wanted at least 1 Nightshade, but that's okay. We're just gonna have to reset on TNL a few times if we have to. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, Pokemon in particular, we split the leaderboards because we don't consider Japanese and English to be the same game. Different speed communities handle it differently, and I actually like the Pokemon approach, but how do you think about that, Travis?
Sorry, what was that?
Just how do you feel about Pokemon splitting the leaderboards between languages? Whereas other communities are like, oh, Italian's faster, play on Italian,
I think that it is a really smart thing to do because, well, for one, you need to standardize around one language, regardless of whether or not like people will standardize automatically if they're all allowed because one will be the fastest, so you have to, and then it creates people need a certain amount of money to buy whatever language is the fastest.
Yeah.
But the thing I like about it is because we standardize around English, it's a lot easier to interact with your viewers who don't have that same sort of implicit knowledge of memorization of all the menus and names of things.
Yeah, that's very true. And also, in this case, they're literally not the same game. Like, the way the stats work out differently.
And that's an important thing to say, too, is we're creating a space for people to optimize both games where they have the differences in the actual gameplay. I think if there were, like, a Legend of Zelda game where in English there were certain glitches and there were different glitches that you could do in Japanese, I would be really confused if they didn't have both of those have leaderboards.
Yeah.
That's part of what I like about the split in the PSR community.
Damn, I actually kind of misplayed there. What I should have done is dived. Because I got rain up, I should have actually used dive on Soul Rock, because even though I could knock it out, now I hit Winona in heal range. So it was kind of a misplay, but it's okay. Now I'll just two-shot here. So I'm surprised I won, but here we go. Please don't. Okay. Oh no,
surprised
are you serious?
I won, but here I go.
No way, man. All right, my PP is fine. That sucks. I think he only has two.
Did you get a heal when you weren't expecting?
Yeah, I got 2 heals. I think he only has 1. Oh my god, are you serious? He has 3 hypers? Okay. That's fine. It was a bit of a misplay, but I'll just take the win. Please crit. Okay. I'm just
Han's over here getting Shrek'd by the healing
What?
AI.
He has 4. They have 4 hypers? Okay. I should have done this in the first place. Just rock smash into Oh, my PP is now pretty tight. Oh, wait. Damn, that sucks. Are you serious? No, I was trying to use dive. I screwed up. Is he gonna kill me? I think I die. Yeah, that's okay. I want to do it again anyway. Damn it.
Oh, did something go wrong?
Yeah, no, I messed up. I mean, at that point, I had exactly enough PP to get through. Actually, I had 1 fewer than I would like. But it's okay.
It
was my mistake.
Too much PP trying to kill it in that fight.
Yeah, because I just ended up in a situation where I should have. I should use dive on Soul Rock, even though I could knock it out, because I actually got the rain up, which is usually doesn't happen, and so I did too much damage with Surf. This is the same fight as before, and he got burned again. Okay. That's okay. Just don't... I got the exact same fight, except he hit. Oh no! Actually, this is okay. Yeah, so I'll get this, and as long as I don't get... Okay, that's good. Oh no! Okay, I'm gonna have to go for this. I'm gonna have to do this again. Please die. I lose. Damn it.
Did you get any Calm Minds that time?
Yeah, I got Calm Mind.
Yeah, I think that, from what I remember at least, when they use Calm Mind, it becomes difficult to damage them enough.
Yeah.
Affect the fight.
Yeah, so I mean, to explain the fight, it's kind of like the epitome of why we do what we do in terms of HP manipulation. I didn't get a good setup with low HP because I kind of was forced to heal before this. I wasn't forced, but it was the best play, I think, to heal before. No, this is not a good pattern. Because I was dead to Nightshade, but because he has random AI, I didn't die. Or I didn't take any damage, even though I healed, which is what I would have wanted. I could have survived too. Please just knock out the Wingle. Is that heal range? Okay, good. So sorry everybody, I almost made Sapphire look really good. Because I could have just taken that first win if I hadn't made the mistake I made. But that's okay. Because now we should get this. Although actually I'm probably going to get stuck in a heal loop as well. I probably should have gone for Powder Snow. This fight requires a lot of... this is a tough range, but it's possible. Please die. Ah, damn it. No way! This fight requires a lot of improvisation for sure, but nothing I could have done about that.
Oh, were you not expecting Castform to die?
No, it's not that I wasn't expecting it, it's just 50-50. It's always 50-50 for them to... So they basically coin flip on who they target, and then wow. They basically coin flip on who they target, and then they use a move based on whether or not they can kill. So if Solrock targets you, Solrock does slightly less damage with Psychic than it does with Solar Beam, or I'm sorry, than Lunatone does with Psychic. So, currently I'm out of range for both of them to kill me, so if either of them target me, they'll use a setup move, or in Solrock's case, it'll use Solar Beam. So I just got Solar Beam there. I think he missed. Did he miss, right? Okay, and then now, okay, so he took in Sunlight again, and I got Calm Mind again. This is a really bad amount of HP, dude. I fucking lose. I lost again. I think I lose again. Unless I crit. Oh, that's not gonna kill though. So I can live this, but he has to low roll me. Come on, please. It's okay, I literally have like 15, actually I have more than 15 minutes to spare, but yeah.
It's all good, dude. This is what we expect from Sapphire.
I hate it that people expect this though. And I swear, if I got low HP, if I took even one Nightshade from Xatu, I would have already won. I'm surprised that I won first try.
It might be a marathon strat to save before that fight to make sure that your HP gets manipulated the way you want it.
Oh, I did save before that fight. And I was like, okay, well, I could have reset there, but I thought, why would I do that? This is so... Are you serious? Okay, well, we're gonna have to heal here.
So what you're saying, Heinz, is we should do Sapphire Japanese races so that we can...
This game would be great to race, I
perfect.
think. Nowadays you can actually race Sapphire. It's just... Okay, that's fine. Don't... You gotta be kidding me. I have to crit? Are you serious? Like... I don't even know... This fight becomes unwinnable from like a certain amount of HP. I actually won the first time.
You could like leave the gym and take damage.
I'm not gonna take damage out for this. This happens every time I do this game in a marathon. Well, sorry boys. It's okay. I'm not gonna go overestimate, but this is, dying pretty much every possible way I can. If it's not clear, I'm setting up X speed every time, so I outspeed them. And it's just a coin flip. The problem is the amount of HP that I'm at. This is like the worst. In fact, what I might do is just heal the full before the fight if I die again, because I'm dead to a +1. I won't die to a regular Psychic from the Lunatone, but I'm like probably 50-50 or slightly more to die to a +1 Psychic. So because he just set up, I'm at like 84 HP or something like that, and he does 79 to 94. So if I don't live this, then I'm just gonna heal the full and do it again.
That makes sense to me that you would want to heal the full from this situation.
Yeah, this is probably the play anyway. I should really come up with like, unless I was slightly higher HP, then it would be probably just better to do this. So I'm just gonna save again and just do it from here because this is... The problem is you really just don't want light screen. So it's okay, like say I was to take... Well, actually there's no way I can take damage without him setting up at all. If I use potions, I waste a turn, and I only have 2 slaves, so... I'm already using my first turn to set up an X speed so that I outspeed them, which is just kind of required.
Heinz, is this another example of where getting a Zig's a good marathon strat?
Yeah, I don't think it's too necessary. I'm telling you, this is the last fight that I expected for this to happen, and all has to do with my HP. You know?
I just thought I'd mention it as an additional way that you can get a little bit safer fight here.
Well, we need a new manip for Wingle if we do that.
Oh, do you need like Zig into Wingle or Zig?
No, the number of pokes in your party affects the manip, or affects RNG, so you have to use a different. You need an alternate. This is gonna hit him in heal range. Oh, that was so close.
It's gonna be so hype when you actually beat this fight, though.
Probably. Literally can't win from here either. I literally can't win from there either. Almost like I could have waited for the crit there, but I don't know what pattern I even need right now. What's messed up is this is how we used to actually do the fight. So I know it's possible to win. It's just that we used to straight up enter the fight from. Yeah, we would heal to full, and that's how we would do rival as well because we were dumb and we didn't realize how the AI worked. And then we would lead with cast form. We would switch cast form in, which is actually worse because Solrock can't kill the cast form. So if he targets cast form, then he uses Sunny Day. So first
turn. Which is gonna mess with your damage.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Sorry, boys. Man. Had it right there, too. A good critical. It literally comes down to criticals. It's insane. It like drops below 50% if you... Damn. Oh, he lived. Okay, good. No, that's exactly what we wanted. Okay, Soul Rock attack. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I think I'm good. Sorry, I'm so mad, but... Okay, he lived, but it doesn't really matter. I'm so mad. Okay, that's figures. So what was I saying? Yeah, it's probably 70% or better to win if you enter with low HP, because if basically they're 100% to attack you, whether they attack you, whether they target you, or whether they target your slave. Nice miss. All right, whatever. So this is all good. I actually save a bunch of time in the late game compared to just judging by how far behind I am on TV. I can probably still finish within probably 10 minutes of estimate. Yeah, you're probably at least 70% to win if you enter with low HP within range for Lunatone to target you. Lunatone's really the big deal. It used to be Soul Rock because it used to fear Sunny Day, but now we realize how to do that. But it drops below easily 50% if you're not. So anyway, so continuing.
I'm guessing that you won't be manipulating the Kyogre?
No, I will be. I'm going to manipulate the Kyogre.
Oh, okay.
Yep. No, I'm going to do that just because it provides consistency that you wouldn't otherwise get.
Nice. Yeah, I had thought that in a lot of marathon situations you wouldn't manip Kyogre, but that's cool too.
Japanese is actually... Oh, damn it, I missed it. I screwed that up, didn't I? No, that's correct. Okay, good. So we use this repel to stop right in front of this trainer and use the next repel to avoid him. This is the last trainer in the game. What was I saying? Japanese is actually a bit tougher. What am I doing? I should just turn up. Normally he's not facing this way. Okay. Should have just turned up, but it's like, oh wait, no.
I do like how you get the option to like ask, hey, do you want to use strength from this boulder instead of having to open your menu and use it like in Gen 1.
Gen 1 runner. No, yeah, E4 is a lot tougher in this game compared to not a lot tougher, but definitely tougher than English. So. Man, this was like probably the best that I could have expected it to go, but it's okay. You know, TNL are they're tough. They are really tough, but Japanese makes them easier. I literally just needed one Nightshade. Damn, you're like 50-50 to get at least one Nightshade too. It's like actually what?
Still longs. Emerald does a lot more cutscenes and double battles than the Sapphire game does. Does Emerald make you go get Rayquaza too?
Does it make you get Rayquaza?
Yeah.
I don't know if you're required to get Rayquaza or if you just do it for the speedrun. I'm not sure.
Because in Sapphire we just finished it off with Kyogre.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sky Pillar is like a huge amount of time.
So this next fight is a little bit different than it is in English as well. In English, the Mightyena is, I think, neutral speed, so you always outspeed the Mightyena, so it will use Scary Face to drop your speed, which is bad because you need to up your speed in order to outspeed Sharpedo. Mm-hmm. But in this game, you no, I knew I should have saved before this. Yeah. Okay, well. Whatever, it seems. Okay, good. Okay, nice. That's cool. What was I saying? Oh yeah, in this game, or in this version, you outspeed it, so it will never use Scary Face, so as long as you don't use next speed on Mightyena. So the problem is that it'll use Swagger more often because of that. And so I'm probably gonna have to just like win a coin flip here, which I would do normally in a run. I think it's worth doing. I like this fight better. It's my point though is that you save the guard spec because you don't have to. I have another. Yeah, I do. That's fine. You save the guard spec because he won't Scary Face, so you normally buy 2 guard specs in English. Sorry, anyway, fill this with whatever flavor commentary you want, Travis. At this point, I don't care.
It's all good. Let's see. What's going up next? One of the other interesting things I thought was they actually like changed characters between Sapphire and Emerald. So like where Wallace is I believe he's your mentor in Sapphire, and then he becomes the 8th gym leader. In Emerald, I can't remember exactly.
No, he's the 8th gym leader in. Wallace is the 8th gym leader in. Damn it, damn crits.
What is that guy's name? Steven. Steven is the.
Yeah,
like,
Steven's kind of your mentor in. Yeah, he's the champion in Sapphire, but yeah.
Yeah. But they like change him to have a different role in Emerald. It's like they actually like retcon the story in a way. Between the same gen.
Yeah. This is so messed up. Why do you do me like this? I'm just gonna honestly YOLO this and redo this fight if I hit myself. Because I got a critical from Mightyena, so I need Torrent to kill Sharpedo. I'm just not gonna heal to full and waste this. So just please don't do it. Good. Okay, cool. Nice. I'm so done with this. So normally I would heal Confusion. The way it works is you win 150-50 to knock out the Mightyena, and then, which I did, and then because you're already confused from Swagger, the Crobat won't confuse you. It'll always damage you. So you're gonna get confused between one or the other of them, and you need to set up 2x specials and 1x speed. And also the Crobat is plus speed in English, but it's not in Japanese, so you outspeed the Crobat, which is another really cool thing. It works out either way in both games, but you just save a card spec in this game, which is really cool. And if you don't get critical from the takedown like I did, then you can set up one more X special, 1X speed, and then heal confusion, and you're perfectly in torrent from the Crobat. Because I got critical, I didn't have a turn to heal confusion, so I just YOLO'd because I don't... trying to save time. I don't want to do a sloppy fight, because otherwise, I mean, I could set up a third X spec to... ultimately, if you have enough PP, it's probably faster just to spam Surf, but you're not going to knock them out. So in this case, it probably would have been best, if I wasn't going to YOLO that, probably would have been best to just heal full and then heal confusion and then spam Surf, because I would have had enough, but it's just, at this point, I just wanted to do that, and it worked, so.
Heinz, did you hear about, what can I think? Shiru's cutscene RNG. That,
oh, did he give a... I heard you counting. I didn't... Did he get, like, what, 13 seconds, or...
Yeah, he lost, like, 10, 13 seconds to the
Dude.
cutscene length there in Emerald, where the rain after the cutscene lasts a variable amount of time.
Yeah.
And that is a thing that I think no game... If you're a game developer somewhere... please don't make your cutscenes have RNG.
I don't know what would cause that. It doesn't seem like it's something that would be programmed intentionally, so... You know what I mean?
Yeah, I imagine it could be like the music. It's waiting for a certain point in the music before it starts the transition.
Yeah.
But I just... what's the... nota bene?
Nota bene?
NB. It's a Latinism.
Oh, yeah.
NB to any developers of video games, please, for speedrunners' sake, do not add cutscenes with RNG to your video game.
So we're gonna mid for Ogre, just to,
Heinz, have you ever gotten perfect bike movement in this area?
I did earlier. It's actually not as hard as it looks. We used to complain. We used to say Bonkless Cave of Origin is world record, but it's a little bit easier than it looks if you just actually practice it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that learning biking, it's one of the most difficult things to learn.
Yeah. Yeah, Victory Road is probably, I'm going to butcher it. I'm okay at it. I'm really hit or miss with it. I feel like it's tough to honestly get a good level of consistency with it. Even if you practice it a lot, I feel like there's definitely diminishing returns because it's just, it's really tough to determine how far you're moving because you're moving so fast and you don't have any visual cue as to where you are, usually. Granite Cave is probably the best you can really do with that, just because you're not moving too fast and you can kind of, feel your way out from the landmarks. So I'm going to use one rare candy on this, and hopefully, I got this. 169.90. Yep.
Noise.
Oh wait, I'm going to teach Shockwave to the Kyogre. So I got the mild, which is kind of nice. Teach Shockwave, teach Surf, and I'm going to save Hydro Pump. Normally I would delete Hydro Pump with this good of a special attack in English, but we'll cover that in a sec.
Kyogre learning Shockwave is one of the more broken aspects of Kyogre, in my opinion. Like,
oh yeah, it really is.
Who thought that was a reasonable thing to put an electric move on a legendary water Pokemon?
Yeah. He also learns Thunderbolt too, which is we used to sometimes get. It was always slower, but for a while we were like, okay, we don't want to mess around with.
More consistency with Thunderbolt.
Yeah. I mean, especially because we get the Mount Fire candy. We used to use the candy that I used on Kyogre for Swampert. I think it's because we didn't. Yeah, it's because we didn't get the 110 candy because we I'm gonna actually save before this puzzle because I'm just. If I actually lost all this time, I'm not.
You don't want to be.
I never choked this. But.
Was it Tyrant who choked the puzzle?
Did he? In a marathon or just?
Somebody I remember choked.
I've choked this in a run in probably 2015, but. No, because we didn't get the 110 candy because you don't really pass that way if you're doing the Abra route. So we only had our third candy for Swampert. We used to go from 33 to 36 to evolve Swampert on Mount Pyre after you get that last candy. And we didn't have a candy for Kyogre, but the ability to get the Route 110 candy for Swampert and then have that for Kyogre is really broken. So we equip a Prism for this fight. You might have seen me pick him up earlier. The game moves so fast I haven't really been able to commentate on a lot of stuff that you would need text to understand. But basically, we're shockwaving water types, and this is the main issue is we set up on this guy in English, but he's plus special defense in Japanese. So if he uses Amnesia, which he did, then Surf really doesn't kill. So we need Hydro Pump to knock him out, and of course I missed.
Gotcha.
And he used it a second time, so I'm just resetting. But I guess I could have tried to two-shot him. I'm not sure what I would use, but I don't want to mess up my PP. Because I also skipped Max Elixir, which is we used to always get, which I'll kind of talk about the PP management for Kyogre in a bit. But in English, you can just Surf that even after the Amnesia because it's lower special defense. I think it's just neutral special defense, but obviously at much higher levels, boosting nature or a nerfing nature amounts to a lot more. But the reason why we don't set up on the guy after him is because it's a Celio, which knows Body Slam, and you can just get locked into paralysis, and it's not fun, so. And this is also mild with like 25 IV special attack, and even with that, it's not, I need Hydro Pump for this. Console is Game Boy Player just because, dude, are you serious?
That's what he's actually playing on. He's playing on a Game Boy Player attached to a GameCube for the video out feed to capture it.
Just not gonna say anything. Game's trying to make sure that I come in at exactly estimate because that's what happens. Because I don't have Waterfall and because my Surf PP is rather... I think in runs before this I was always teaching Waterfall here. But it's just, I think you should just keep, it's like, what is it, 85? Do you know if it's 80 or 85? I think they changed the accuracy in later gens, but I think it's 85, so I should not be missing these Hydros. And he doesn't always use, I'm minus defense, so he's reasonably likely to use Earthquake. He also has Earthquake. We're just gonna do this till it works. Anyway, flavor commentary.
Try it till you die.
Yeah.
The good thing is, at least, is that we're nearing the end of the run. This is the this is the 8th gym, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So there's a bit of movement getting through all the Victor Road stuff, and then you've got a pretty interesting Elite Four.
And my Japanese timing includes the credits, which I assume we won't be including. In fact, it's best if we don't because I'm getting close to estimate. I can save probably about maybe 2 minutes in Victory Road. I'm plus 20 on PB right now. My PB is like just 2 hours. It's 159.54, so I'll be close, but
I believe. I'm still
oh,
believing
no.
you.
No, I'll make it. This Ogre is really good, and the rest of the E4 is not going to be a problem. The routing is kind of interesting. This is one of the main things that Ringo lost a lot of time on in his run that it kind of encouraged me to get back into it. And one of the things is he seemed to just use our approach from English Sapphire to do the same thing in the late game for Japanese with Ogre. One of the main improvements and kind of optimizations besides Mount Pyre Candy to the Ogre section in recent years was we were able to route out Max Elixir, which I think I mentioned earlier. Normally we would need Max Elixir because you have 10 Ice Beams. Also, your Surf PP is kind of tight, If you had bad stats, and because you didn't have Modifier Candy, Hydro Pump was a little bit more valuable, so you would keep Hydro Pump and you wouldn't teach Waterfall. So you would use, which I'm going to teach Waterfall in just a second if I remember to do so. You would use Max Elixir to heal all of your PP. Obviously, it fully replenishes all your PP. And but because we started teaching Rock Smash to Swampert, we had to. Oh no! See, I forgot.
Heinz, one of the things I thought of today, I hadn't thought of before. Sutopolis is like suit plus top plus polis, or polis is Greek for city. So it's like the suit top city.
That's a good point.
I had never actually thought to dissect that name before.
That's great. Yeah, no, obviously I'm familiar with the polis part, but yeah, the pseudo. That's interesting. Yeah, because there's kind of a sort of a soot theme in the, or sort of a volcanic, somewhat of a volcanic theme in the game. When you say
it's like it's a city in the water under a volcano. Right?
Oh shit! No, it is actually supposed to be a dormant volcano, right? That's filled with rainwater.
Yeah. Yeah. So the city is topped by the soot from the volcano.
Oh my, that's actually good.
Yeah, that's some sick linguistic tech in the.
I'm not sure what the Japanese name is. I'll have to look at it, but that's the one thing I don't know. I can read it, but I know where everything is, so I don't. I need to know, but no, but so we need 11 ice beams, but we only have 10. But since we started teaching Rock Smash to Swampert, we couldn't teach it Waterfall, so we have to teach Waterfall to Kyogre in order to even get here. As you saw, I just climbed to Waterfall, so I have to teach Waterfall by that point. And the only move I have to overwrite it is Hydro Pump. So I need to save an Ice Beam somewhere in here. And we do it in English usually on the final trainer in Victory Road, which has a Cacturn. We can use Surf on it. You could use Hydro Pump, so what you could do is, if you had bad special attack, you could teach Waterfall in the first slot instead of Surf and delay teaching Surf until after Victory Road, and then use Hydro Pump on the Cacturn and a couple other things because bad special attack is just so bad. It's like plus special defense in English or in Japanese, so you can't actually use, because obviously it's not very effective. But you do, obviously, you have Rain behind you. And I've also equipped Mystic Water after I got rid of the Persian Berry. So we need to save an Ice Beam somewhere. So instead, I decided to do it on Wally because the Gardevoir is also plus special defense. So you need a Hydro Pump unless you have a good special attack or unless you're at +1. So I routed in a X special to the Wally fight, and he has a Roselia that you would normally Ice Beam, but instead I use Surf on the Roselia, and it's guaranteed at +1. So
wow.
I had to save it somewhere, so I was able to find that.
Nice.
The other thing you can do in English is you can also Surf Sydney's Cacturn, but you have to do it +0 because you can't set up before Sharpedo on Sydney because Mightyena knows Swagger and Mightyena knows Sand Attack. That's actually the main fear. It's actually Sand Attack because Swagger is actually not that big a deal because you can just heal Confusion, but Sand Attack you can't heal. And then the Cacturn after that knows Cotton Spore. And you need to outspeed the Sharpedo, otherwise it can lock you into Swagger. So a bunch of little tiny things like that, but yeah. Ultimately, we're gonna bring it home. I hope those of you that I don't think anyone's ever gonna get into this game. I don't know about you, but I hope that people who would want to would be down to play Japanese because it is pretty easy. I mean, as you asked me earlier, like all the numbers are just the same as they are in English. So if you can just count how many items you need or count slots or whatever, it's pretty easy to know.
Yeah,
what
they use Roman characters for all the numbers, so
yeah.
If you can get the menuing down, it's very easy to figure out what to do.
Yeah. And a lot of the menus just flow because like especially the early game menus, there's not a lot of variance in them. So.
Now, Heinz, you know Japanese. Do you know the etymology of Kyogre's name?
Kyogre, I honestly think it's just, there's actually a lot of Japanese Pokemon names that are, they just steal an English name because it's non-native. It sounds kind of foreign, or it sounds kind of, you know, mystical. And I assume it's actually just a kind of an English version of Orca combined with Ogre, you know. And if you look at Bulbapedia, I think on Bulbapedia they have a different explanation for the first element. I'm not sure.
Kai means ocean.
Oh,
in
yeah.
Japanese.
Yep.
So it's the ogre or orca of the ocean.
Very good point. Very good point. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is actually the origin, but it's also weird that they chose to spell it KY in the English, because KY in Japanese, as you probably know, is Kyo, right? It's not Kai. So we'll set up an X special on Veltaria.
It's like Kyogre. It's something weird.
No, I think it's Kyogre. They spell it KAI, I think, in the Japanese.
Exactly. The spelling is different in the way they parse it out. Why play Sapphire? Nostalgia. Literally the only reason.
Sapphire, this is, honestly, I think as far as Pokemon speedruns go, Pokemon speedruns, especially Gen 1 through 3, has started to get, so I'm surfing here, knock it out, it's awesome. Ringo lost a ton of time here on the CAC turn because he tried to surf it, which it doesn't die, and then this stuff too. But Pokemon speedruns, especially Gen 1 through 3, they've gotten mind-numbing if you're actually grinding them. I mean, I know Gen 2 has kind of experienced a bit of a revival recently because, you know, the ability to use Raikou, and, you know, you're probably not grinding for absolutely perfect RNG, but, you know, once times with new routes get relatively optimized, it becomes an exercise in extreme patience, extreme, you know, masochism almost. And I don't think Sapphire is that much different, although English can be rough. I don't want to talk too much smack to English, but
Sapphire is just really one of the best examples of a game that requires a really high level of game knowledge and execution.
Yeah, I think specifically TNL, like, you have to be able to just improvise so much.
With the like the improvisation needed for TNL being the best example of knowledge, and then the biking being the execution.
Yo, what's up, Skid? Sorry, I'm not really reading chat. I'm kind of. But what's up?
Reading chat.
Skid's one of my fangirls. She was my fangirl first. I know she fangirls for all you other Pokemon speedrunners too. But...
Yep, hi Skid.
So Sydney's free. I mean, this is all gonna be super free, so because I manipulated pretty good stats, so.
Yeah, we've talked about the Ruby route before, right? There's something about going to the.
What, you mean the glitch route, or?
The glitchless route for doing Ruby in English, with trying to finish off the game with Groudon instead of Kyogre.
Oh yeah, someone.
It's a lot harder.
No, yeah, you were talking to me about it a little bit earlier. Yeah, the moveset is much worse. I know that. I thought DeBombs2 actually wrote some notes about it a while ago, and I know that Amoeba did a run of it like probably a few years ago. I think it's still on the leaderboards, but yeah. So no, actually Robbie uses it for the glitched run because the Numels, the one fight that you have to do before you can do the candy dupe, that's an aqua fight. You can do without evolving yet, whereas in English or in Sapphire you would have to evolve because otherwise you don't have any move for the Carvanas. But as Mudkip you have Water Gun for the Numel, so you can still OHKO it. So for the museum fights, that he just does it as a Mudkip, which is actually really doable. Do I want to? No, I think I'm good here. Yeah, I'm fine. And before I die, but I don't think I can die. I should really probably have saved here, but. I think I have yeah, I have an X-Spec for this, so it's fine. I do buy an extra X special, and I changed my shopping for the marathon because I buy one less X speed and one more X special. One of the main problems with Kyogre is you have to account for a wide array of stats and still make it work, even though Pyrocandy does help you pretty significantly. you know, you do want to be able to take at least somewhat worse speed. Specifically, you might not be able to outspeed Sydney's Sharpedo, and so it can lock you down with Swagger. So you would set up an X speed on him, but because I'm guaranteed to outspeed him, because all 4 of these ogres that are in the cluster that I'm in it for have good enough speed, I don't need that X speed under any circumstance, so I didn't buy it and bought an extra X-Spec instead, and that X-Spec allows me to X-Spec on this fight. I could X-Spec on it anyway, but depending on if I had to stall on Flannery with an X-Special or anything like that, I just wanted to have a spare. And that allows me, because Sableye can only attack you, I think he has like Attract, but you're genderless, so he won't use it. And all his other moves are damaging. Otherwise, you have to 2-shot this Dusclops, and it knows Confuse Ray, so it could just, you know, troll the crap out of me. So,
Classic.
Yeah. So.
Don't you think that Pressure is one of the silliest abilities?
Pressure, yeah, that's a good point. Actually, that's all of Phoebe's Pokemon. Most of them have Pressure. That's one of the reasons why we used to use Max Elixir, because you run out of so much PP there. But it's kind of silly. I mean, competitively,
Yeah, all of the you cut out of it there. All of this E4 members Pokemon have Pressure.
All of them on Phoebe, really?
Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them do, right?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, because Prankster wasn't an ability until, like, Gen 5, so, or I think it was Gen 5, so Sableye probably does have Pressure, yeah. So yeah, you lose like 10 PP there, right? So, it's actually pretty significant.
It seems to me like PP is probably one of the more basic concepts of the game. You use a move, you lose 1 PP. Why would you change that?
Yeah.
It really throws off your playstyle. But you're basically just one-shotting everything here, so you're not that worried about PP through the E4.
Yeah. With you know, not guaranteed good stats, it's a bit shakier. Like, Glacia is one of the main things that makes this so much worse. This is a range, but I'm going for it so that nice, okay, good. Because now I don't have to mess around with Body Slam. The second, he'll always use Hail first turn, and if I can knock him out at +1, then the second Celio doesn't have Body Slam, so he can freeze me with Blizzard, but I'm not as worried about that, obviously. And I need to set it to +4 because I have to Oko the Walrein, and to keep, you know, to kind of give an idea, this is, like I said, I think 25 IV plus special attack. It's mild. Yeah, it's 26 IV. To Oko the Walrein at +3 in Japanese, you need, I think, at least 31. Ah, he did freeze me. Damn, okay, whatever. You need at least 31. Yeah, the freeze. Like, that's actually never happened, but... And he gets off the Hail.
That's never happened before.
Dang it. I lost time because otherwise it works out perfect. You know, he can't get off another Hail. That's fine. But the Walrein knows Sheer Cold. So in English, you can easily, pretty much always, as far as I know, knock it out at +3. And it knows Sheer Cold. So, I mean, a 30% chance, which, again, Body Slam is 30% to Paralyze, and I don't mess around with that. So I did lose a PB run before I finally got my sub 2. The fake sub 2, because it's Japanese, but to Sheer Cold. So, you know.
What's Kyogre's ability again?
Drizzle.
Drizzle.
So, but Hail obviously removes your weather ability unless you switch out and switch back in. So we're able to one-shot the Walrein, which is excellent. And we'll be moving on to Drake. Drake.
It's interesting that Kyogre is so much better than Swampert that you don't care about that animation from Drizzle.
Yeah, and it's a lot of text, and you would think, you know, maybe we've done a little bit of routing of Ogreless before, and it's fairly close, but I think it's not only still slower, but it's also tougher in the Elite Four, and you could die. I'm not sure how it would go in Japanese. I haven't even kind of hypothesized about it, but nice. The Shellground can protect.
But... You don't have to get the Master Ball.
Yes, you don't have to get the Master Ball, although there is a YOLO Ball manip now, so because YOLO Ball, it kind of takes a little bit of the value out of that, although YOLO Ball is, in my mind, so inconsistent, it's like, I don't know when it'll ever be standard, but anyway, No, what you have to do is you have to go out of your way to the abandoned ship and get, there's Ice Beam there, and there's an extra rare candy there. And you also have to collect, like, I mean, there's a rare candy, like, on Route 120. There's a rare candy... I think there's one other one that you get somewhere, but, I mean, even with those extra levels, like, as you saw, you're very under-leveled, so unless you want to go out of your way to go fight, you know, an extra trainer or two or whatever, then at which point you're kind of defeating the purpose, so...
Yeah, you'd probably be better off just doing that YOLO bit before trying to get Swampert to work.
Yeah. Although I would love to see it happen. I mean, I think that would make the game a little bit more interesting. One of the kind of detracting factors, I think, in Gen 3, especially Sapphire, is that there's not really even a good meme category, you know? Like,
yeah, there's not, is there?
No, because, like, TNL ruins
this,
Torchic.
And then there's all gold symbols.
Yeah, yeah. Like, all of the other two starters just have so... They did this on purpose. Like, they intentionally made... Because they knew what they were doing. They designed the game. They knew that Swampert is just so much better than the other two. But, you know.
It's interesting, like, how many of the trainers they made easy towards Swampert, too. It's not just that Swampert's powerful.
Yeah.
It's that the trainers generally don't have Pokemon that are good against.
Yeah. Brook is, like, the only required grass-type Pokemon in the game, I think. I'm, like, almost positive. I can't think of anything. Anybody? I can't think of any.
Next up, we have JP Zinum doing Fire Red
awesome.
Equal Round 2.
Awesome.
If for anyone who's wondering.
So, you know, this is the last fight. I want to say thanks, everybody. Thanks a lot for sitting in with me, Travis. And thanks a lot to pretty much, like, Robbie, Epic Dude Guy. Awesome dude. Done so much for the game. Shout outs to Xarian. You know, really helped me with, like, routing early on, like, when I was playing, you know, just speedrunning in general. I routed this after I crunched all the numbers, was able to route it myself. And it was a really rewarding process. Shiru is a god, so you should watch his Emerald streams because he's really closing in on that Reki, and I want to see him get it. So other than that, like, I'd love to see more representation from Gen 3 runs. Most people do at least, like, a small stint in Gen 3, maybe with Sapphire. Quay, notably, has recently... Oh yeah, shout outs to Keys as well. Keys has actually done solid work, kind of keeping the game alive, I would say. He still plays English, even though I've kind of abandoned that.
For sure.
But solid stuff, dude.
Yeah, I love Keys' Sapphire play.
Yeah, he's really good, you know, and Gen 3 is hard too. Like, to be as consistent as him and Shiru are, requires a ton, and XRN requires just a ton of practice, and like I said, like, even then you're still potentially hitting trainers because even if you practice 8 hours a day, you're gonna hit them sometimes. So, and that's just.
And anybody who wants to see that video quality I was talking about, getting a DMI signal from the GameCube, Keyzeron has that set up, so you could check out his stream to see that. Sapphire looks so beautiful from Keyzeron's stream.
Oh yeah, no, he has GBI, right?
He uses GBI and the HDMI output for the game in combination, so it's like it's almost 1-to-1 pixel out.
Oh, TNL is. Oh no, you said one of the gym leaders. Yeah, it's Tate and Liza, which is the seventh gym leader. This didn't turn out too bad, honestly. We'll call time at the save screen, obviously, which is normally in Japanese timing they go till the end, which is kind of cool because you get to watch the credits. But we want to keep going with the marathon, so.
Yep. Well, actually, we have plenty of time until the next run would start, so don't.
If you want to go through the credits, we can do a post-mortem. I love the post-mortems.
Yeah, we've got the next run coming up at 10:50, so we have plenty of time.
Oh, nice. Okay, well, I'm kind of glad that you got to see me down at TNL. The rest of it was honestly really good. I took one death to Norman, and I don't know, like, you know, it's tough because I want to kind of show what makes it tough, but I also don't want to make it seem like an awful game because it really is rewarding. But you didn't get to see a lot of what goes wrong. I should say, I think I reset once at Winona as well. Yeah. But I don't know which game has come the farthest. I don't know a lot about, like, Gen 1 especially, and like obviously Crystal has gone through a lot of changes, but this game has come really, really far since 2014 when we were resetting for Mudkips. So that's oh yeah, shout outs also to Mountebank, super historical figure. Don't really see him a lot anymore. CTM, historical figure. Don't really see him a lot anymore. Hopefully he's doing great things, but Mountebank, you know, provided us with the original Mudkip manip, so that was epic. I'm trying to think who else. There's a lot of people, like I said, who come in and out, and kind of decided that Sapphire wasn't for them, and that's cool. But I can understand that, but you know, most runs at least get to TNL in this game, in Japanese at least. In English, you just, you know, in English the wall starts at Brawly. It technically starts at Roxanne, but it starts at Brawly and just keeps going until TNL. So in this game, you're just able to get through, I think, a lot more of the middle, more consistently, to where you're just getting more chances at TNL, and so you just have that much more of a chance to actually get past them. Because like I said, really not, because of the way that you're able to take low HP into TNL, usually, it's actually only because I got crit by Pelipper on last turn on Winona. Other than that, it would have been, other than that, the hit was actually good, he just crit me, so 1 in 16.
I really think it's funny how they're trying to do that slideshow through the Pokemon you've caught.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work very well because you've caught so few Pokemon.
And we don't even catch Abra or Zig, so it's like 5. I think it's like 5 Pokemon. But do check out JP. Not JPN, but JP coming up with Fire Red. He's next, isn't that what you said?
Yeah, JP is in him, I believe.
Nice. He's been putting in work on round 2. Round 2, one of the coolest categories, honestly, that Gen 3 has to offer.
It's perennially seen at the marathon because a lot of the staff, it is one of the best designed categories in Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
The way that you combine needing to catch Pokemon in a Pokemon speedrun with the way it affects the routing and leveling points, and the variety of very closely timed routes between the Mewtwo route, the Zapdos route, and the straight Charmin.
Oh, wait. It's time. Hang on. Ready?
Okay. It's time?
Not yet.
Okay.
Ready? It's time.
Okay. The old 221.
That's, honestly, I'm cool with it. Mine was estimate 225, right?
4 underestimate.
Solid.
At the end.